What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today, we're going to be looking at
Raised rivers, more raised rivers, and see if none of them are bluffs. So up first, I'll go first, and then Micus, you're next if you want, and I'll tell you how this works. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, say what we think should happen, and then we'll see how right that is. And if you have an opinion as to what you think might happen based on population that isn't matching this, say that too. So I'll go first. Sevens should absolutely open. Jack King suited should 3-bet him. Ace 8 suited should fold, and the sevens should call. But that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is the sevens are going to raise or maybe limp, and the King Jack suited is going to limp behind, and then the Ace 8 suited is probably going to limp also. I mean, it is probably going to flat. All right, so here we go. There's the raise. There's the Jack 8 calling, and now the Ace 8 is going to call also. He's not going to squeeze. Faced with this Ace 8 suited squeezing, I don't know that he should. I think faced with this action, the Ace 8 suited is probably a pretty good call. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And then we should both fold, and I should obviously never call here. I don't. All right. It's a multi-way pot. Sevens should check range. King Jack can bet and can do also a lot of checking. And when he checks, he's probably checking to check raise depending on size. And against a small size, he should check raise. But the sevens don't know that, and they bet. Against a half pot bet, I think the King Jack should not raise here. I think he should just call. I don't think that there's a good reason for him to raise. He just calls. The Ace 8. Usually a fold, but with the back door, I guess he could call off for 1 now that he's getting such good pot odds with the call in the middle. I don't think he should ever raise it. I think this is a fold or a call. He does the call, not bad. And now the sevens know they have to give up. They check. The King Jack against the check. With a call behind, I don't know that he can be that confident in his kicker. He's got to be thinking a little bit about spades and trying to get value from spades. So I wouldn't mind a bet. And if he bets, he should be betting around 18, betting around pot. And if he just checks, that's okay too. Little timid, but not bad. But he does the check. The Ace 8 should absolutely check here. But he bets. The sevens need to fold, and the King Jack has no reason to raise. He should just call. And then this happens. In what order should they go broke? I don't think it matters, but I guess if you're King Jack here against a small, I guess you just jam with the King Jack here. But he bets an equivalent of a jam. This river raise doesn't count. He can't fold to this river raise, and there it is. Okay. That's what happened. Richie, you are next. You have the next hand. And if anybody disagrees with anything I just said, feel free to say it now or anytime.
Yeah, that
All right.
ace eight,
Yeah, agreed with everything
calling
you
on the
said.
button with 50 big blinds, I think, is pretty loose. That's probably just a fold, even with 100 big blinds on the pre-flop.
Right.
But with them limping but in front of him, right? Well, sorry. It was a initial raise and then a caller behind. You're likely gonna get, depending on the players behind you, you're likely gonna get a see a flop, right?
Yeah.
I don't think with being so small stacked that they could argue calling for the backdoor with 2 people showing interest, right? I know it worked out for them, but I think basically limping in on the button is fine with an ace 8, right?
Limping or overcalling?
Calling, so calling, yeah, over calling here on the button.
I think, I mean, if versus weaker players, I think so. Not with 50 big blinds. I still think it's probably a fold. With a full stack, I think it's better. But in theory versus good players, I think it's a fold. If we were to like run this somehow,
Yeah.
I don't know if we could, but
We have a range somewhere where we can push where we can, push the, rake low enough that we can, that we can get some calls from this. This is NL 200. If I didn't point that out, this is the $200 game, so the rake is not so bad in this game compared to the 50. And it is an open to 2, not even 2.5.
but I agree. I think versus population, it's probably not nearly as bad as like if you were to compare it versus a balanced solver
Right.
ranges, whatever.
Yeah, I think it all depends on what you're expecting your small blind and big blind to do. If they've got high 3-bet, then you don't, because you are just throwing money
Yeah.
away. But if they seem quite passive or not, I think taking a cheap flop to see if you have equity to play,
Right.
it's tough
And then
because he does have middle pair and there's the back door. But with 2 people showing interest straight away, it feels like more often than not you're potentially thrown away because you've got to hit runner, right?
And then Richie, just to remind you, we have no information on this big blind and the small blind ever in these games. This is the fast game,
Okay.
so it's
Oh
population.
yeah, and it's okay. It's ignition as well. Yeah, a
Yeah.
fast game. Yeah.
Yeah, so this might be a mistake. It doesn't seem like an egregious mistake. The pre-flop, this seems like a bigger mistake than the pre-flop mistake, I think.
I agree.
Yes.
And again, it's not, I mean, it's not a -10 EV. It's not terrible, but it seems like a mistake.
No.
But it's a mistake that paid off. All right, Richie, you have the next hand. And let me
Let's go
see
for
where
it.
we're going, up or down with this. We are going. Okay, what? This is bizarre. Oh, that's me. Okay, so we're going down. There we go. Here's your next hand.
Okay, so under the gun should fold. Hijack should raise or bet. Sorry. Cut off fold. Button fold. Small blind should fold, but it is likely going to limp in. It wouldn't surprise me if we even see the undergun at 18 big blinds potentially limp in with 1 big blind. But yeah, I would say it's probably going to be ace-8 v ace-6.
Nah, this is me. That ace-8 is not playing. I don't know what
Fair enough.
else is happening,
That was you.
but that's not me. But I'm not playing
Well,
that
it's gonna
ace-8.
be some of the clubs then. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
club matchup.
Yeah, probably a limp and a raise, or a limp and a limp, something like that. There's he
Yeah, I
just,
did notice that was you.
all right.
Oh, blimey, fair enough. The 7-9 raised bet. So ace-6 now. It's one of the weakest suited aces, right? Realistically, it should fold here, but I guess they're gonna, call it. They might 3-bet it, but I'm gonna say they're gonna call it because it's a small stack ahead of them. So if they 3-bet, they're putting themselves in a jam. So yeah, they're probably gonna call it. Queen 3 should probably fold, but based on their position, they might call it. And then the others should leave out. So I think it's gonna potentially be a 3-way with a lot of clubs in hands.
Yeah, and the ace-6 here is in the NL 50 rake is never a call because there's just no calls in this position, but it does 3-bet.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of 3-betting of this ace-6, not much in that position. But
In
he
that
does.
position, huh?
I think so. I've just been studying these, and so I got to see this one, whether the ace-6 comes in yet. I think it comes in like at 10% or something, but it might not come in till cutoff versus low jack. I'll take a look really quick for our.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I just
So this
know
is the NL 50 rate,
ace-6.
right? Oh, I'm sorry. I showed you an MTT. I apologize. What am I thinking? I'm cheating on you guys with MTT. All right, here we go. So against the low jack raise, the hijack, see a little bit of the ace-6 there.
Bet a
there.
bit.
Yeah, that's there.
Yeah.
And then against the cutoff, it's even more robust from the cutoff. This ace-6 is not against like here. Here we don't have the ace-6. No, we do. I'm
I was
wrong.
going to say, do you think though, with it being a 3 big blind raise, that reduces it to potentially
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
three
that's
bet?
true. That's true. I didn't look at the three big blind version of it. So it reduces it. It probably doesn't throw it out completely. But anyway, he does this. And at
Yeah.
NL 200, maybe that's a thing. All right, there's folds.
What a 7-9 got himself into. So realistically, they probably should check here out of position, but with such a small stack and what they've gone in with, it wouldn't surprise me see to just jam here because there's one club on the board and there's a backdoor, straight backdoor flush. Yeah, so because if the A6 bets, well, the in position bets, you're basically folded or committing yourself, aren't you? If that's such a small stack. But yeah, let's say check here if we're randomly playing as the villain, 20 for some reason. Here now, I'd take the free card and check, but they might actually do something different. They did check. Okay. So villain should check again because it hasn't improved them at all unless they want to try and rep the eights, but they're just so short stacked, they're in a really awkward position. So yeah, they should be just checking and giving up. Okay. This person probably just calls to keep in the bluffs because they're set short stacked and they could like potentially get the whole pot on the river. Now, villain 20 wants to see if they're fully representing the race and just go all in. I don't agree with it, but that's what I think they might do. And then obviously villain in position is going to call them. If villain checks, which they likely do, because the villain, the in position is repping, that they've got interest in the board, be it a 10 or an ace. Maybe they were going for the flush draw, but yeah, out of position should let this go. And then fold to any form of bet. But yeah, they've just shoved. Oh no, they haven't shoved, they've halved it. And then this ace should just go for it all, just raise him, right?
Yeah, and he's just trying to go, he's trying to get nothing to fold, if just in case the guy has something. And maybe, because the guy could have hearts. He could have hearts.
Yeah.
He tells him he doesn't. Right. All right. Corey, you are next if you are available. Is Corey available? Corey is often not available. Corey 234. Corey's not available. Okay. We're going for Adam is next.
All right. Ace 9 suited is an open here. Ace 10 off. So we're playing 3-better fold in this position. I think ace 10 off is gonna not be a 3-bet here.
So far from a 3-bet. Oh my God.
I think you probably want to have like the weakest offsuit combos that you want to 3-bet are gonna be like ace queen here.
Yep.
And maybe king queen off. Would probably be the ones that I would think about 3-betting on the offsuit side. You just get yourself in a lot of trouble if you start going too wide here. Oh, look at that.
There they are.
Because if you add the ace 10, then you've added the ace jack and you've added 25 combos. So, all right. So it should fold around, and then ace 4 suited should defend with a call. Maybe even some slight 3-betting, but probably just a call against the early position open. That's what should happen. I suspect ace 10 is going to flat, and ace deuce flats and ace 4 flats. We take this 4 ways. That's my prediction.
Right. And the ace 4 actually raises about half the time against this position is my memory. So this
I mean, I could see it like the ace
low
4 and the
jack,
ace 5.
Low jack big blind, and there's your ace 4. It's that whole region there. And this region is robust in the big blind against all positions. So against every position, there's some amount of raising from all these hands. And that includes the under the gun, which doesn't have the king deuce and the king 3, but there's some raising, just to show you how extreme, how much it loves this nonsense. Look at that. All the way up to ace 8, and all these kings have some. All right. But he goes for the call. Nothing wrong with that.
This is a board that probably favors the big blind a bit, but it is not going to involve a lot of donking, in theory or reality. you see more donking when we have, straight, like completing. So if it were like 9-6-5, I think you would see more.
Right.
And if it were 7-6-5, I think you'd see a lot more donking from big blind in this spot, but there's not gonna be any here. It's just gonna be check. Um. And then probably like in theory, I would think that the under the gun player would probably check a decent clip here. In reality, I am gonna just see bet here all the time, for about half pot.
Yeah.
I think it's just, and I think that's probably what's gonna happen here. I think it's gonna go check, see bet, and then we'll see what happens.
On your 5, 6, 9, I agree. You're gonna see some of that. I think on 5, 6, 7, I think 5, 6, 7 is a pure donk. I think it's 100% donk range from the big blind. I think it's one of those freakish things.
Yeah, it could be.
But I don't know the donks. I don't play them.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
I just know that, yeah, I just kind of know the rough rules there.
Yeah, and this ace nine does seem like a good bet here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
backdoor flush draw,
Yeah.
gut shot, or backdoor straight draw. I mean, it might have some showdown value.
Yeah.
Conceivably, but,
You could do either.
Yeah.
Check. He goes for this, and the tiny size is also a great, is perfectly fine. The half pot that you said works, and this is, I think, good.
yeah, I mean, the ace four now, like this is why it kind of is nice because like the ace four really doesn't have a lot going on. Um. So, but it has the ace, so it could have potentially some showdown value, but it's just gonna be in a really tricky spot. So even if we had done this with say like king jack, the ace is ahead, but we're gonna make it fold on
Yeah.
future streets. I think the ace four is probably a call. And I suspect they're gonna call here.
I think it's an optimistic call. I would fold it. Because although you have a backdoor straight,
Yeah, you don't, I think you probably want the 10 to be a club and then it becomes.
yeah, that'd be
More
great.
clearly a
Yeah.
call.
Right.
But again, if you think that you're playing against a player that is c-betting too much, you might have to make an uncomfortable call here with this. I think this guy's gonna call with ace four.
The problem is,
Do you,
is though,
just a question, do you
Yeah.
think it's best to check raise here as the big blind, right? Because it's not strong enough likely for showdown. It does have some small equity with the backdoor straight. And if you're concerned that they are maybe continuing too much, it would probably be better to check raise rather than just call.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would probably prefer to
Small
have
size.
like, I would like, again, I would prefer to have the spade combo here to do that for sure. And
Yeah,
then like maybe, I think I would prefer to have like the 7, like ace 7 or something over the 5 and the 6 might make me feel a little bit happier. But yeah, I mean, so I think that there are some thoughts here because it is Richie. One of the things I've seen recently is it's really nice to have like the ace high overcard, as a as a bluffing candidate, but it
yeah,
has no kicker.
yeah, there's a whole lot of check raises you'd want to put in here, and this one just doesn't make the cut to me. If
Yeah, I think
anybody-
this is, yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
If anybody wants to put it in
Yeah,
solver,
fair.
solver's gonna find it. We can look at this one really fast to see it. He does this, which seems like the worst of the 3 choices.
Hmm.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Oh, boy.
It's kind of interesting, right? Like this card
Yeah.
is now, I think, a lot better for villain 20's range than it
Yeah.
is for the imposition player.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna see it here, but I kind of wonder if this is a decent spot for a turn donk. Just because, especially if you think that the imposition player is c-betting too frequently. This board is now bad for them. They've c-bet
Yeah.
too much. They have a crappy range. And so you can generate a lot of folds just by betting like half pot here as villain 20. I don't know that you're going to see that here. I think it's going to go check. I think it might just go check, check now that the ace 9 is like, oh, let me see the free card and get to the river.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go check, check is how I think it's going to play. But I think in a lot of spots, this might not be a bad spot to donk for villain 20.
If I have ace 9 here, I'm gonna continue betting it. I picked up equity.
I would too.
Yeah, let's,
I would too with ace nine of spades.
Yeah.
And I would, the question is, what size would you bet? Would you bet big? I would bet big-ish. I would not bet over pot. I think I'd
Five.
bet something.
Five,
Five,
five
I
and a
I was
half.
thinking like 5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah. 5.5, something like that.
Yeah,
He goes to check, but he decides he wants to realize.
yep, there we go. There's the check back, yep.
And is the river gonna be the 3 of spades or the 8 or the offsuit 8? 5 of spades.
I have a
Okay.
spades. All right, so I mean, I assume this should go check. If I were the imposition player here, I would think that this is the that the out of position player is really capped. I mean, maybe the 5 helped them. I wouldn't, but I think I would have to bet like half pot or even less to get a call here. Like, I don't think I'm going to be betting very much in terms of size.
I think villain 4 has to go for the bluff here.
You
It's-
mean the out of position player?
When, yeah, I'm sorry, villain 20. When, excuse me, the ace 4. Yeah, when he decided to call this flop
Mhm.
with as little as he had, he has to have a, if he wants to, for this bet, for this call to be profitable, he has to bluff some runouts. And this run out after check, check looks like a good run out. He could have called with backdoors. He could have called with bottom pair. He could have called with one of these others. And after check, check, I think he has to bet. I think he has to bluff.
I think there's zero chance that villain 20 had that thought process in mind. He is going to check. Oh, look at that.
This is the
Right.
$2 game. There's some players here.
All right. I mean, as with the ace nine suited, you have a hand strong enough to raise. I mean, I would presume, like, I'm not really worried about like full houses. I'm not really worried about like 10 sixes or 5s. I feel like I would have gotten check raised on
Yeah.
the flop. 5x is like possible. Like, this guy could have like an ace 5 of clubs, ace 5 of diamonds.
Yep.
That might float the flop, check back the turn, and now feel like they have a value hand. 7-7, yeah, like 7-7 is really the only full house that you could foresee. So I think you have to put in the raise here now.
Yep.
And I think you're just going like, I would just go like 3x.
Mhm.
Trying maybe 4x if you wanted to target a 5. Whatever you
Or
think a
lower
5 would
flush.
go.
Or lower flush.
Or lower flush.
You can have a lower flush.
I guess like it kind of.
The thing is, so I'm all with you. I think the bet is to 15 or 20 or some number in there.
Yeah, I think that's the size.
And
Yeah.
then I think you have to fold to a jam. I think
Ugh.
you make this raise, you have to, yeah, I think you do, and that's terrible. And I don't
I think-
do it. I make this mistake all the time. I look at it and go, oh, maybe he's got king, queen. And I don't fold, and he never has king, queen.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough I don't think you're gonna see many jams here.
Right.
I think you're gonna
Nope.
see a lot of, when they are jamming, it's really nutted.
Note one thing here, note the size of the bluff. I think this is an often sized bluff, the 75-ish%. It's enough to get somebody to fold, but you're not committing so many chips. It isn't the same size as you would go if you had the full house or the spades. Probably you would go bigger trying to get some value, from just an overpair, get more value. So I find this size, not 100% bluff, but I find this more bluffed than the 125% when GTO says the opposite, that you have to have more value in your 75% than in your 125% and your 150%. But
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
I think it's like a good bluff size. Like, I mean, if we believe that the imposition player overstabbed on the flop, and then we get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you're gonna generate a lot of folds.
right, Adam, I don't mean it's a bad bluff size. I mean, I think
No,
it's
yeah,
often, I think when you're in the ace 9 position here with some king 10 hand,
Mhm.
that this is an often bluffed size. And we should be
Mhm.
suspicious of this size is what I'm not getting it just from this hand. That's something that I think I've seen a lot of.
Mhm.
All right. He goes for the raise and life is over.
Yeah.
All right. I assume that Richie, that you're here twice, that's not a different Richie, but if there are 2 Richies here, Richie number 2.
Yeah, I switched devices and I think it's just left one ghosted.
That's right. All right. It's Mike. Mike.
Hello.
You have some shit.
Let's see, what do we got here? We got, yeah, nothing great here. Just King 10 should raise and take it. But population, we might see Ace 4 raise. We might even see Ace 2 raise, but yeah, who knows what they're doing.
Here's I think it's going to be raise and defend.
Oh, it could, yeah, they could defend that. So there's your raise, there's your defend,
Right.
which pretty sure that should not be a defend in theory.
No, this is too wide, but you would see it from any tournament player would do this. And there is, by the way, a 5 deuce here that calls. And so the 6 deuce is, how bad is it really? Shouldn't do it, but it's, here's your, just seeing it. Here's your freak 5 deuce defend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's your 5 deuce and your 6-3. So, whatever.
All right, well, the 6 deuce should check. King 10, this would be a range bet. Well, okay, well, we get the donk.
All right.
I mean, I'll play donk leads probably a little differently. I follow the Brad Wilson Nuffle strategy, but I would just call.
I think this is a great call. I think we can ask ourselves one question now, though, which is, how did this guy get 282 big blinds?
Yeah, just luck boxing probably.
Yep. He donks, and he donks for more than half pot, which also seems unnecessary on a.
Yeah, clearly that's not a thing.
Right. So we all like call here and no raise. We like him.
And then we wait to see what he does because I'm not playing Villain 22 anymore.
Nope. Nope. And he's gotten his answer.
All right, now we're just gonna, I don't know if we should size up now, and just try to, basically target his range that has like a lot of middle pairs that he's trying to like kind of sneak in, see where he's at, see my air quotes.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking. That's what the fish are thinking. Let's see where I'm at with my pocket fives.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'll be fairly inelastic to a larger bet size. So maybe just size up to like B75 maybe. I think if we start going really big, then they start to consider folding those 5, 6, 7s, 8s, whatever it is they have here. So yeah, I would probably size up B75.
Okay. I think in game, I make the mistake here of betting small or even checking behind again.
No, I don't think that's a mistake. I was just kind of going more exploitable.
Yeah.
I think probably ideally it's probably like B50, maybe even a smaller size, but like I was talking myself into getting more value out of a range that may be less inelastic to the sizing.
So let's give this guy pocket 6s, 7s, 8s, right in that range, 5, 6, 7, 8. What does he call? Does he call a 75% there, or does he just know that he's beat? Since this board is so not draw heavy, it's so hard to find a draw for me to call with that's natural. I mean, sure, there are ace queen of clubs here that I can call with and things like that, but they aren't. I mean, to someone who donks a flop, they're not going to see that. Maybe they're not even thinking about my hand. He goes
but
for
then do we, so we do, I think we want to try to get that value now, as opposed to like, say we just go really small or even check.
Yeah.
And then try to get something on the river, like a bigger bet on the river. But then we have lots of scare cards that could come, and when anything over those big pairs, then they're just going to go away when we do bet any size. So maybe that's what I may be thinking now is the time to get the value while they can still reasonably think in their mind, he could be bluffing, whatever.
Yeah. And I think
I don't know how fish think.
Yeah. I think the real answer is you can't play this king 10 wrong. I think,
Yeah, no, of
I-
course not. I mean, everything will be profitable. Anything you do here is profitable, but we're trying to like
yeah,
discern which is the more profitable play. And
Right.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm just theorizing.
yep, yeah. I don't hate this. All right, and
Oh, what
now,
did they do? Did they check?
check, check.
Okay. And then villain 22. I don't know what I mean, I'm done playing him. I don't know what I would do. I would never have donked the flop. So I don't know what I'll just wait to see his action before, because I would realistically be in king 10 shoes here.
If I'm deuce 6 here, I need to turn this into a bluff. I don't want to be here, but, and so I expect we're going to see a bet of around 8 from villain 22. Oh, oh,
I mean, it's classic. This is like
Yes.
classic. This is
That
like,
is.
we see this so often.
Yeah, all right,
Um,
we're done. I
Yeah.
guess the only question is what size.
yeah, the sizing, I don't know. That's probably good. I'd probably
Yeah.
be 60.
Yeah. I mean, the funniest raise is to 2. But it's not good poker. All right, here we go. Dean,
Hey, Scotty, real quick. Um, back to that hand that's Adam had. I ran a couple of things. There was some talk about the donking strategy on the 10-6-5.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, and Adam nailed it. He said this particular flop, low jack big blind, had like a 33% donk strategy from the big blind. Turn that 10 into a 9, like he said, and it becomes 90%.
wow. So that when it's a 7, it's 100% then, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, and then turn it into like a 6-5-4 rainbow.
Yeah.
It's 100. It's 98% or something like that.
Gotcha.
Even from the hijack, even if it was hijack cut off or hijack big blind.
So one of the things that Larry said is that we can ignore the donking branch for a long time and still be pretty good players. I think that's true, but maybe we don't ignore the 100% donk branch. Maybe we should, maybe it's time to pick that up. That on the flops that are 100% donk from the big blind, let's do it. Let's try to start finding those.
That's fair. I think a check raise is also profitable in that same
Yeah.
spot.
Yep. All right.
Because he shouldn't be betting that board. So the result of having a high dunk board is that imposition should check high freak, and when he does bet, it's a spot to check raise.
Okay. Here we go. Dean, you have ace king. Is Dean here? Dean 2, 3. Oh, Dean might be typing.
He's in chat.
Okay. Somebody, let me open up the chat so I can see it. There we go. All right. Dean, ace king raises, ace 8 suited calls. And against the low jack, the ace 8 suited is a pure call. There's no raise. The 8 is not there. The 7 has some raises. Just to take the second to look at it, here's your low jack. Here's your big blind. There's your 7. And I'm calling that none. All right. There we go. And the flop. That was pleasant. Dean has pointed out that the ace king is a broken stack and wants this flop to go check, check. There's the check, but the ace king wants to know where he's at. All right. So with the bet, do you want to check raise or are you just too strong? Dean says ace 8 suited should spend a bunch of time like he's looking like he's thinking, and he goes for the check raise. All right. Check raise, what size? This guy obviously called because this goes to the river, but when you check raise, what size do you want to go to here? 12. So he's gonna go big. He's gonna get greedy now and think the guy's got it, that he's gonna put the guy on top pair or better, and it's gonna have to stay in. Can't have top pair on the ace of diamonds, though. I block that. All right. So he just calls. We know that's what happened there. In the check call line, then you have to check, and now the ace king should check behind. Oh, now he donk bets. That's weird. I think this is not solver approved. I think when you check, you continue your check. But he donks. And he donks tiny to keep everything in. And I guess the ace king. Dean says fold. I guess if I have ace king here, I guess I fold. I mutter. Mike likes the big blinds. Yeah, let's put this one, let's put this one in a quick solve. Somebody put this one in. Because of that disagreement. But he goes for the call because it's so small. And I guess the river is going to be a king or an ace. So what's going to happen? No. All right, we are going to see it. With a one card straight out there. What does ace eight do, Dean? Dean wants to bet big. Bet small to induce. It worked. And now just jam and hope that he does have the king high flush. Wow. So there's your bluff example, and came off the tiny bet, same size bet, which is usually a sign of weakness. Same size. I'm trying to get there cheap. The ace king sussed out what this usually is, but this time it wasn't. All right. Who's got this in a solve already? Anybody?
I'll put it in.
Okay, yep, put that one in, Larry. We'll go to the next hand and then we'll do it. The next hand would be Larry's, so I'll run the next hand real fast while Larry does that. That was
I'm
always.
ready. You wanna look
Oh,
at it?
Larry, okay, Larry's got it. Speed, nicely done.
Okay, so there.
Dean says take off the rake in the solve. I do not know why, but this is what we got.
Okay. 8-6-3. We have no donking on this texture. You check.
Yeah, these are the donks we don't need to learn. That's there's some donking on this board that we can just ignore.
And then, excuse me. What did he do on flop?
The ace king bet. And he bet and he bet small, if I remember correctly. Let me look at his size here.
I think it was half pot. They bet.
He bet. Oh, whoops, wrong buttons. I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. There. Yeah, he bet half pot. Thank
Okay.
you.
So first thing, that's not really a thing. If you're gonna bet on a monotone board, you bet small.
Yep.
You bet he's not gonna break the solve well. Question is, do we fast play?
Right. And looking at his ace king, is he allowed to bet an ace king that doesn't have a diamond on the flop? Ever?
Not really. He needs a diamond.
It doesn't break the solve, but it looks like solver noise to me. And it's definitely small. Okay.
To that size, we're never check raising, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe down here, like a little bit, but not really. But we check raise to a smaller size. So this is interesting. The smaller size, we are doing some check raising here.
Mhm.
The nuts, surprisingly. I thought we check raised down here.
Right.
But no, so. He calls, yeah,
Yep.
and then we get the 4 of clubs.
And I'm just shocked that there's a single donk anywhere here.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but I don't know if it's, yeah, so we're protecting our donking range, because we do have it with the flush,
There is.
small size.
And the ace eight does it sometimes. So I was just wrong.
Across our entire range, right? So like. Total crap. Down here. 6-5. Yeah, it's across our entire range. We get donks.
Yep.
But he chose, it's always a small size when we donk.
Yeah, and he did. He chose he donked
I thought-
small.
I thought that particular card was good for the big blind too, to be able to do this. Like if you change that 4 to like I don't know, a 9 or something, I'm wondering if it goes away.
Yeah, maybe. Let's find out.
And that's because of how the 4 interacts with the straight draws down there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit still, but but less.
Yeah.
What is this? This is 5% versus. $15. Yeah, that's significant. Good
Yeah.
point, Mike.
Right.
He chose a small size, right?
Right, and why is that 1.8? Why the size? What's the? Oh, because the other guy bet 2.7. He really bet 50%. Give him the 50%, and do we have, and on that 50 that he shouldn't be doing, does the ace eight ever do it? Because I'm just looking based on how he gets his sizes. Yeah, there's the ace eight can donk here.
The donk has actually gone up by another 8% as well, with the larger
Right.
size on the
And he
flop.
donked 33%. But we're gonna call it the 2.2.
We raised with the blocker.
Yeah.
But we're never supposed to bet without it, so.
Yeah.
He doesn't get here.
Yeah, so give us full height here to get that, and let's see if there's anything in those. Yeah, it's nonsense. Okay,
He called, right? Which is naughty. Not supposed to
Yeah.
do it.
yeah, he called.
Now, what are you supposed to do with the nuts? When that's 7 of clubs, guys. Do you ever BSTI? So. Let's filter. Flush. Yeah, you can do lots of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
this hand allows all different strats, right?
Yep.
Which makes sense. I mean, when you got the nuts. I think the theory is that you'll often see this when. Sometimes the nuts. When you're gonna profit from different parts of his range. So.
Yeah. I mean, look at how much it checks.
Yeah, even checks. So he chose the cheeky BSTI, right?
Yeah.
And are we gonna ever bluff this? So clear. Yeah, we're gonna bluff it sometimes.
Yep.
With the blocker.
Yeah,
And obviously, yeah, you choose whatever size you want. It likes to like, let's say you have the ace of spades, which is, I think, the most common. You just shove or fold. Shove or fold, shove or
Yeah.
fold.
but in reality, we have to have the king for him to do it because the other guy has the ace. So to his mind, this is the only thing it could be.
So let's say, well, then, okay, so then you should go 75. I'll
Yeah.
go to 17. 17 bigs.
Right.
And obviously, then shove
Obviously.
anytime. With the nuts. Flush, filters, flush. Well, that's interesting. So when he raises, we need the nuts, the second nut flush to shove.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a call. And this is when it's. This is when it's 3 to a flush.
Yeah.
But if we have the king or the ace, we should. King or ace high flush.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. And then Larry, the next hand is yours.
All right.
All right. You have this nonsense.
Is there a theme today? by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
These are river raises in the $200 game. These are all 200 or more. I don't think there's any 500 here, but there might be.
Okay.
But they're all river raises.
Okay. This should fold around to hero. And hero, and then this combo does get to defend. So
Absolutely.
to go raise button, big blind defend,
Yep.
and with a flat.
And this Jack 7, 3, 4, 4, 5,
He's
6,
got
7.
quite a stack there. So that's
Yeah.
he's
This
got
Jack
a
seven can-
$1,200 stack online. Nice, get in.
And this Jack 7 can has about 25% 3-bet in this position, I believe.
Yeah, I think it mixes a little bit. I don't know
Yeah.
how many people are finding it, but it does mix.
Here we go. Fold. This is button raise, and here's your big blind Jack 7. There it is. All right. So it exists.
Yeah. So I think most people are gonna flat here. Yeah.
Yeah.
See how. Okay, so ace 4 7. Fight dry.
Right.
Generally, I think you can big bet here.
Right. He needs to check range. Just right on
Oh
this.
yeah,
board.
yeah.
Ever
He's gonna
blast.
check. I think this is I think you're allowed big bets here. For like a B75. Find it hero, find a big bet.
I think I'm gonna find a 50% because this was years ago, and I don't think I knew about small and big bets yet. Oh, I knew about small bets.
Okay, yeah, so. Against a small bet, I mean, no, I don't think you get the check raise. This seems a little bit too fierce to check raise. I think you just call.
Yeah, I don't think he can't fold yet. He has to lose more money.
Interesting card.
Mhm.
Villain doesn't have donks. You get to polarize like a B75.
I check behind here.
Okay.
And I guess my thinking is that these are the calling kickers against his ace. And I don't need protection here.
So
A
Play
straight,
Horse talks about checking in this spot because he is of the opinion that it induces lots of bluffs on river.
I'm checking with the intent to call almost any river except for a 6 is the only river that I might not call.
Yeah. So, I mean, what? 6-8 got there. It's not the greatest card, but.
Yeah.
I would bet, but checking. Okay, we check. Okay, so he now, let's see if you got what you wanted.
Yep.
And so the only question is size. So clearly this is a value raise with top 2. And I will probably go close to pot.
I think I'm gonna go 8. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Yeah, I know me.
And he should fold.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets interesting. So your pot odds are being offered 27%.
Mhm.
He's claiming he's got 8. So the way I look at this is that he is repping a very tight range. He's essentially repping 4 combos. Maybe, let me see. So he's repping 6-8. And I think that's about it. What else is out there? 4-5. Yeah, I mean, to me, he's repping 4 combos of 8-6 suited. And
Right.
that's a pretty tight range. And you've got a really good bluff catcher. I think we generally call it.
Right. And do I beat any value that he could possibly have? He can have ace five.
Yeah, so it's a tough one. I think, yeah, we do beat some worse toss, two pair. I think we do beat value.
Daddy, I thought that maybe there would be more value that we could potentially beat. Because I think on this like kind of dry texture, you might see ace four, ace seven more inclined to just call off. Even to the small size on the flop. Not always, but maybe a little bit. 4-5 could also be a hand that might float and then check back and then
Yeah.
conceivably end up here. So
Yeah.
I thought there maybe a little bit more. So I thought there was some value that we would beat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
that's
and,
valid.
and I have to be honest, when I said ace five, ace five to me was included ace four and ace seven. They were all the same in my mind. Yep.
Nice
And-
call.
Yeah, and I don't think he check raises ace king here.
When he like small bets and then re-raises your raise, he's repping a pretty nutted combo. Although
was
the
scared.
size is really on there.
Yeah.
He's repping, yeah, I think he's repping. I guess he is repping two pair plus in deep value, but I would lean more towards a set.
I think
or straight.
I think I fold ace jack and ace queen here a lot. If I
Yeah.
play him right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very lucky river.
Well, do you, that's actually goes to my question. On turn, would you check ace jack or ace queen? I would think the ace 10 would probably be one of my strongest checks on turn.
Yeah. So ace nine. I can have ace nine here.
Could
and I
have
can
ace 9.
play. And except I don't raise. That's the thing, is I don't raise ace nine here. I just call. He bets two and I go, really, two?
Yeah, this is an interesting hand. Like, where's the value threshold there?
Yeah.
And I think ace 10 is falls within a value threshold that
Right.
bet on turn.
But here you go. If we think that river raises are rarely bluffs, how about river bet raise 3-bet?
Yeah, she's repping a very narrow range.
Yeah. I was surprised that I wasn't beating value with this or losing. I was really surprised to see what is essentially a bluff.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a little high on his supply of 600 big blinds.
All right. Stefan, hello. You just got here. Do you know what we are doing? If not, I will show you what we're doing and then you can do it next. But you happen to be it's your turn next to do it. So if you've been here before and you know what we're doing, say yes, either in the chat or or with your microphone. All right. Here we go. All right. Stefan has not said anything, so I'll go next. Stefan, you can go after this if you want. Just turn on your mic or start chatting and we'll know you're here to do it. Okay. So here's what should happen. It should go fold, fold, fold. Oh, we just did that one.
Yeah.
Next hand. All right, here we go. King Jack should raise. Ace 7 suited can call or 3-bet as he wants. And then these two should fold no matter what. Let's see what happens. How does this happen? Okay, I'm confused now. This King Jack is way too tight a fold. This is 100% in the, is that true? No, this is
I don't
not-
think it's 100. I think it's like,
It's 75%.
I was gonna say 60, but
Yeah.
I
I'm
would,
wrong.
I would fold it. I do fold it in the low jack a lot. It helps
Okay.
keep me in check.
Yeah, it is. No, it's the King 10 this is the low jack. It's 100%. I thought it was. There we go. I was thinking low jack defense. Yeah, no, King Jack, this is a pure open. You can open this profitably. If you want to keep yourself in line, fold these three. Okay. Doesn't look. Oh yeah, that does look right. Okay, got it. But he folds it. Okay, so the ace 7 should obviously raise, open, and then it should get two folds, but maybe, I guess the 3-10 is gonna come along. Raise. All right, boys and girls, This is how you get 40 big blinds, by doing this. Uh, he should not be here, but given that he's here, he should check, and the ace-7 should check behind. Ace-7 can bet this, but he can also easily check this happily. That's fine. 3-7. I guess has to go for it. Yeah, not even a tourney call. If this was your reason for calling queens, this was to take it away from check, you've got to bet here. That was your plan for this flop, for this thing. So he bets. And if I have ace-7 here, I'm just going to fold. This is going to work against me, but it doesn't work against him. There's the ace. If 3-7 bets at all, it should be really small to try to get a club draw that has no showdown to fold. He's going to try to get something like 9-10 of clubs, or some straight draw in here. He's not trying to fold enough to get a jack to, that would be suicide to try to get a jack to fold or an ace. So if he bets, he can bet just really small. He can bet 4 or I don't know if he can bet 3. Five, 6, 6, 7, 7 can fold. So you're going to try to get, so Adam's going to bet more. Adam's going to bet like 6 big blinds because he wants to get 5, 6, 6, and 7, 7 to fold. You block the 7, 7. Yeah, but not more than that. So yeah, so he goes for the small thing. And this ace-7 should not raise. This is dumb. He should just call and happily take the pot. He's basically turning his ace into a bluff now, I think. How do we count this river raise?
Yeah, we were trying to track like how many of the river raises we get today are going to be bluffs or value. What do we count this one as?
This is the bluff. Yeah, silly. If I do the compute, if I go through the whole database and have the computer categorize it, I think this will get put into the not bluff category because I think what I have to give it some, what is the minimum thing. And I think top pair is going to go sitting in I can't put top pair as the bluff in general. So the computer is going to give this as value. And this Dean calls it a mergey bet, which I think is generous. All right. So that's what we do. And then Stefan, if you want to do that, you can have the next hand. You get this. We'll give you a few seconds to jump in. And if Stefan doesn't jump in, the next person up is Richie. Stefan, 2, 3, 4. Richie, this is your hand.
Okay, folds round to the button, king, queen, and then they should bet, and then big blind calls.
Right.
To defend.
Right. How often are you going to raise this king 4 suited?
I guess it's about 30% of the time.
Yeah, let's see. King 4, I'm gonna do king deuce, king 3. I'm gonna do king 4 is gonna be I think about 25%-ish. You said 30%. Let's see who's closer. All right. Button versus big blind. King 4. You're closer. It's never happening.
Yeah.
It's this. That's the shape.
Yeah.
That's the shape of the calls right there. I got it.
Okay.
Okay, good. You win that. You win. No, I win. You said 30. I said 25.
Yeah,
I win.
you do win.
All right. Points me. All right. So he's going to call. He does.
So big blind checks.
Yep.
King, queen should probably check behind as well.
Yeah.
But it's gonna bet, I bet. I bet they're gonna bet.
Can the button range bet against ace, deuce, eight here? So let's look that much in a, so Larry, just give us the solve just enough to find out if this is a range bet, and I don't think it is. Mike says no range bet. I don't think it's a range bet either. And given if it's not a range bet, then the king, queen does not fit into any bet here. Adam says in real life, it's a range bet for him because you can get away with range betting. All right.
Okay.
So Adam, you're playing. So Adam, this is you on the button. But Richie,
I would call this bet, right? You wouldn't raise it. You've got too much equity to raise. You just call it.
yeah, and he's just and aces. He has a lot of aces. So what's the point?
Yeah.
He calls.
Check again. Hope the button continues to bet.
You don't think you've gotten everything?
Not in this situation, right? Because their range could have suits, could have potential straight draws, could have aces as well that they're not ready to give up on yet. If you lead out here, I don't know. Turn donk for me. So is the turn donk in this situation more common because it's big blind feed button?
Don't know. I'm not turn donking.
Yeah, for me, I would actually in a similar situation the other day as the big blind, I actually turned donked. Don't know why, just felt like doing it, which isn't really the best way to do things. But yeah, it worked out. He paid me because he was well confused. So but anyway, yeah, I would check this and hope they bet. I don't actually know the theory behind the turn donks in this board and position big blind defense situation. And then yeah, villain obviously has now got a decision. Are they repping that they've got something, or are they giving up and just checking? So they really should check this, right? But
He did.
yeah, they do check. Okay.
Checks it. And then Dean asks the question, aside from the flushes, was the 9 better for our range or not? And so Richie, you get to answer that question because this is your hand and because I don't know the answer.
So I don't know the answer, but my guess would be that it would be better for the buttons range than it would be the blinds range. The blind, I think, is more. So I believe the button suited has a bigger, range in middle of the. I don't know the correct terminology, but the middle range. And then the blinds has both the high and the low a bit more, I believe. Is that right?
I think it might be better for out of position big blind because big blind is defending a lot of suited combos.
So we're talking about if it's just a 9 not suited, right? Wasn't that the question?
Oh, no.
Besides the flushes, was the 9 better?
well,
Yeah,
that's-
besides
yeah.
flushes,
I
yeah.
don't know.
So if this was like a 9 of spades, is it better for the button or the blind?
So we don't know the answer. Mike
No.
says he doesn't think so, and Dean agrees with Mike. And then
So-
Dean, you think this or turn 8 has more donks? The turn 8. Oh, absolutely. The turn 8 is a perfect donk.
As in it being the second,
spades.
it pairing the board. Do you mean?
So on the turn. So let's do check, bet, call, and now
Yeah.
let's do turn 8 of spades. Now that
Okay.
villain 9 has lots of donks on the 8 of spades
Okay.
because he calls lots of 8s,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
villain 37 doesn't bet lots of 8s. Yeah, so that's my opinion.
Fair. No, that makes sense. So the middling pairing gives you the donk option. So here now, right? They haven't shown interest in the pot because if out of position, no, in position, the button had flushes, they would likely be betting on the turn. So here you are going to probably, I would go with bet small to induce, hope they either bluff you or they have a middle flush that they're going to go higher with. no, raise with, sorry, and then obviously you go from there. So yeah, I bet small here. I'd probably go 3 blinds, maybe 4 blinds, 3 blinds.
Okay. All right. So here's my argument for betting big or checking. Bet big for the obvious reasons. Get called by a queen, a 10, even an 8 of clubs, some even that
Magnitude
low.
trumps.
Do it. Right. Magnitude trumps frequency, meaning bet
Yeah.
big and make him call with his flushes. Okay. So that's my argument there. And my argument for check is this. No, given the way it was played, I mean, maybe he has an ace here. Maybe he bets his ace and gets scared of the flush here. And maybe he calls a small bet with an ace here. But it seems to me that other than that, and he doesn't have tons of aces here, on this line. He has some. That he only calls with a flush here. And he bets all of his flushes here. And I can check raise all of his flushes here. So that's the argument for the check. Let's see what he does.
Checks, fair enough. Okay. Bets, and
That's
then you raise, yeah.
Right. Now you just blast it.
Yeah.
And hope he has a queen. Oh, he doesn't even blast it. He just makes it big. All right. There we go.
Which that was basically a blast, though, based on the remaining villain stack, right? 67,
Yeah, but he didn't jam it.
Yeah.
He left him with
Okay.
17. That seems weird. I think I would have jammed. I can't think of, does he call a queen to 50 but folds it to 67?
So when you say frequency trumps magnitude, is it? So
Magnitude
frequency-
trumps frequency.
oh, sorry, I was reading the way you put
Did I mess it up?
frequency over magnitude on the messages.
Yeah, that's either a typo or Larry doesn't know how to do. Larry doesn't know what math means. English is not his first language.
I thought, oh yeah, I did get that wrong. Yeah,
It's the
sorry.
other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so magnitude trumps frequency. So when you say magnitude trumps frequency, so you should bet big is a magnitude or just check it.
Well, I mean, checking is a different line, but if you're gonna,
If you're betting, you're betting big.
argument
for
is that if you're
magnitude,
gonna-
is it?
magnitude trumps frequency. The argument is that, it's more profitable over being in the spot 1,000 times to
Oh,
go
yeah,
for max
yeah.
value
Yeah,
rather than getting called more over those 1,000 times.
Right.
I
So
get you.
let's
Yeah,
bet-
makes
Yeah,
sense.
so let's bet 13 or 14 here and get called by a queen sometimes and get a 3 of clubs to fold and an ace to fold compared to betting 3 and hoping that 4 times as often
They call you.
they call.
Raise you. Sorry, yeah, I get you. Okay,
Right.
yeah, it makes
And-
sense. The profit lines are simple math profits. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is one of the things that I've been saying, my wife who plays tournaments, that's the one is that so often when she's got really good hands, she bets small and wants to get called. And it's like, bet big, target take the top of your range and target the top of their range and get all their chips. And she doesn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I think most of us were there.
Yes. She also doesn't like it when I give her any advice about poker.
Uh-oh.
She also doesn't like listening to me chew. So there are many things my wife doesn't like.
You should say the opposite advice that you want her to potentially take on, so that she'll do.
No,
what
no,
you
no,
actually
no,
think
no.
might be better.
No, what I should do is shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
However, that's not going to happen.
Did you
It's
want to look at
actually-
the, did
Sorry,
you want
go
to look at the solve for this on flop?
That's a fun one.
I do think there's a lot of evidence. Well, it's not only mathematical, but the evidence of magnitude from frequency, right, is the amount of times we're in a pot, not actually playing it, you're just watching it, right? And you see someone call with something they should never call with, and you're like, well, that's just made it profitable, right? Even if they were going to fold the majority of the time because that person's called that situation,
Yeah.
it's profitable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the question we had was, I think, was this a range bet? And the answer is no.
There's nowhere near a range bet.
I check.
So therefore the king queen is always checking. Even the king queen of clubs. Yeah.
It's
Check.
the nut no pair, and there's plenty of
Yeah.
like king X, queen X, jack X
Yeah.
10x in the big blind range that king, queen is ahead of.
Exactly.
We wanna follow this hand down or should we move on?
Move on. That was, I mean, once that isn't, oh, actually, no, look at the turn. Let's make sure that that our little story about the turn is right.
Okay, can
About-
you bring up the hand again so I can see the run out?
Okay, let me get that
9
up.
of clubs on the
Yeah.
turn.
You guys have better work than you,
Yeah, there it is.
jelly. Okay, 9 of clubs.
9 of clubs.
Check. What did he do? He bet, didn't he?
It went check, check.
Check. Yeah,
9
Larry, put yours on
clubs.
the screen.
Yeah, there we go.
Would- Would that
Yeah.
help?
Yeah.
I thought I just narrated it for you guys.
No, here we go. It went check, check.
9 of clubs, right?
And
Yep.
so let's see what kind of donks we have with our king 4 here when we take the check line. When we take the check call line with our king 4.
We're mixing our flushes.
Yep.
Half the time we bet, half the time we trap. But notice it doesn't really care about how strong the flush is.
Yeah.
Like the nut flush, blocking everything, it's betting the most. And I guess it's a little linear, right? These
Yeah.
are down here, it's checking a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's
And-
not, it's mixing.
Larry, could we, yeah, just clear it so that we can see cause the flush draws are gonna come from offsuit stuff, and I was just kinda curious about like. So yeah, we have like king, jack, king 10, queen, jack, queen 10 that have flatted. Actually, well, it went check on flop.
It went,
When it
check
goes
call,
check, check,
and it went check, then the river went check. I mean, the turn went
He-
check.
On turn, what, okay, and what else do you guys wanna see in this note?
On the river,
Okay,
what's the size?
so turn went check, check.
Yep.
this is, by the way, this is not how it played in the hand. We're looking
No,
at
it did.
this.
It
No, it
did.
went,
The
button.
turn went check, check.
the turn went check, check, but the flop went check
Yeah.
back call.
Right, yeah, check bet call. Yeah. Oh, right, we need the check bet. We need the bet.
What size did he bet?
You bet 50%.
No, he gets that, he got that. Gets
Nah.
that.
Roll
Nine
over
of
the, roll
clubs.
over, make sure we do check, we check behind flushes here, right? That was what we discovered.
Here
Yeah,
on this note,
yeah, the big blind, the big blind didn't check raise all of his king 4 flushes, did he?
he's got very little check raise to the size, it looks like.
Roll over the king 4 suited, real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, he check calls this most of the time. Great. Okay. Yeah, so
Nine
he's playing.
clubs. Yeah, we get donks, still a lot of donks.
Yep.
So 30% range, let's just look real quick at what. Yeah. We're donking a lot, you didn't donk though, check, right?
So you could donk your king 4s, because all those king 4s there are they only clubs or is there hearts in that king 4 suited?
Just
Roll a-
clubs. It was just clubs.
Just club, yeah. Okay, so mostly check it, which is what he does.
And,
River is the beautiful 5 of clubs,
our clubs.
5 of clubs, and now the question is the size.
Yeah, I
for the
think you get
people.
big sizes. You want to. So, yeah, let's just look at flushes first.
Yeah. The answer is everything. Everything is right.
You're almost always, well, you're mostly betting. Yeah,
You're mostly betting and with the low one, you're mostly betting small. Leaving room for the jack or the queen to raise.
So this solver is doing the line I suggested, right? Which is
Yeah.
not lined up with magnitude over frequency.
It does
True.
the magnitude over frequency at the king jack size when they don't have both a queen and a jack to maybe try to raise you. And then it drops down for the, with the 10, and the more
Yeah.
that, or
I think the
I can put-
jacks, the higher broadways, you're blocking them from having a queen of clubs because, you know, jack, queen, jack, 10, jack, that sort of thing, I think. So
right.
they're not going to have the queen of clubs as often when you have king 4.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that
No,
makes
they're gonna have
sense.
it more often when you have king 4.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
they'll raise more often when you bet small.
Okay, that
And the
makes
weird
sense.
thing is that the king 8, the king 7, and the king 6, 100% do the small raise or the check. And then the king 4 and the king 4 and the king 3 have the bigger bet in there.
Let's
as
look at this
they-
breakdown. So like, where does this, so you can see it's pure checking the nuts. Here,
The
So
king
this is
4, king
also the
3
nuts.
also block. We don't have the nuts. We have the effective nuts. But there is a 3, 4.
well, there's a straight flush available. Yes, that's
Right.
true.
And the king 3, king 2 blocks, the king 3, king 4 blocks it and is never afraid of it.
Okay, fair enough. But it's not checking king 9 because it's afraid of the straight flush.
No,
It's checking it because it's got 100% equity.
but also when it bets the king 9, it bets it small. That's what I mean. The king 9 has no big bet. And the king 4 and the king 4 and the king 3 do.
That's, well, yeah. I think maybe it's checking this because it's unblocking other flushes more.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But here it just is eking out small value.
Mhm.
And then it gets weird because then like, so then these are big sizes and queen. It's not very linear in the way it's constructing its sizing here.
Yeah.
And then once you get down to like 7, then we're block sizing.
Yeah.
And our equity's down to 70%. But up here, we're doing a lot of trapping, aren't we? With 100% equity, 100%
Yeah.
equity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting hand. Should I hand it back?
Yeah, I got it.
One more thing, if
Sure.
we could, is it if you haven't wiped it too late. If we did donk the turn and I guess the most common outcome would be then the button would call with most of its range. What do we then bet on the river if
So-
the button does in fact call most of its range to a donk?
So when we donk, that was flop, we don't want that.
So yeah, it's majority
Okay.
call, is it?
So yeah, I mean, it's such a small size, get a good price.
Okay.
And then it calls,
And then same
and then we get the
low,
5 of
wasn't it?
clubs, right?
yeah.
Question is, what size do we go? So what size do we go with, do you want to look at any particular
We
part of our range?
check mostly out of curiosity. It was showing more checks there.
Yeah, we've got a lot
Um,
of, we've got, so like the flush is trap checking.
Okay. And if we do
Half
bet,
the time.
it's a small size again.
Yeah.
With this combo, still probably same logic of we might unblock the queens, the jacks.
Notice that when we're unblocking the high flushes, it looks like we're getting some big bets in with like 300%. Like the case king of clubs is a really good hand to have here because you're unblocking
Yeah.
everything in theory. So, yeah, so if we take that donk line, lots of bluffs, and then again, we're doing a lot of trapping. Straight flush is trapping pure. But like, once we get to the case king, we're doing a lot of betting. I would assume it's because I'm blocking. Anything else? You guys want to see?
I don't think
part
we can do
size-
this by solver, but just this is more theory talk. Is what do you think is the more profitable line of the donking and then calling, then you checking to induce a raise, or you checking, then checking the turn? and then you potentially, let's say you still don't donk the river, you check the river hoping to induce. Where do you think you're more likely going to get an induce if you donk the turn or if you didn't donk the turn?
So so if we check. And in position, it's supposed to have lots of bluffs, right? Down here for 75% pot. I would give population, I don't know, maybe 25% of this.
Or do you want to go, do you want to show what this is? Let me go back to this.
Yeah, so like down here, like these are our bluffs in position when you check. And these just aren't going to be that as much with humans. I don't think the trap line is as profitable against humans. I just don't think that humans are finding these bluffs at as high a frequency here.
Right.
You know, like if there's like if we like look at, for instance,
But Larry, there's one other
Yes.
thing you have to consider. So, if I give you that the humans don't have, that they don't have the polarized frequency they should, they don't have the bottom of it. Do they have betting more of that middle that they're supposed to check?
that's a good question. I'm not sure. So like the middle, like this massive middle's like sets now are in the middle.
Yeah, they're betting all that.
Two pair,
Yeah, they're betting all that.
these top pair, top picker.
Yeah.
That's a valid point.
On a
That's a
four
valid
flush
point.
draw, on a four flush?
No, oh, this is on the four flush. I was going on that. I'm sorry. We were on the turn.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you
No,
think
no, they're
that,
not betting that.
I think that the turn goes check, check a lot. And I think it goes check, check a lot more in real life than it does in theory. And that's why I think turn donk is better.
Okay.
And I think you can, and like on the, on the, like if you have like king, jack off with like the king or the jack of clubs, like that makes a really nice turn donk situation as well. And that it's just, I mean, I think
So-
that you kind of can set yourself up to get a fold from ace X by betting turn with bluffs. And it's tough to get ace X to fold if it goes check, check, and then you're
And
on
then
the
you try to
turn.
lose.
You can't really win with a bluff.
Yeah, we can see that turning,
Except on the club. On the fourth club you can, but on anything else you can't.
Yeah,
yeah, we can see that a dunk is a pretty viable strat in theory, when on this flush completing. And then obviously when we do this, we're gonna have bluffs if we, yes.
I just
But
think
I
you can
think
like,
generally, yes, I think generally fast playing. I mean, Hard Hands talks about super fast playing. I think fast playing against humans generally is better than trying to trap.
yeah, like
Because
on
humans just
turn,
don't possess the right amount of bluffs relative to solid to make it
Yeah.
profitable.
I mean, turn, I think you get a ton of calls. Like I know it doesn't have like a bigger size, but like ace X is just gonna be like calling a bigger size a lot. I think if you choose it as your bluff size, and you could get a lot of value there.
Yeah, ace X isn't folding.
Yeah, and like in theory, it only uses the B50 and the B20, but in real life, you could go for a bigger size there,
And ace X
Just-
isn't folding.
and ace X won't fold,
Mhm.
and then you can set up so the SPR is closer to 1, and then they have a really hard time folding on the river.
Are
Yeah, they can
you
fold.
mixing that with donk bluffs with a like the naked king of clubs or the queen of clubs here?
Yeah, the problem is like coming up with like the combos that you're gonna have for that on that last board is gonna be like king, like do you have like king 8 off? Like I think it's like a sliver, but like most of the time I only have like king 9. I play like the 9x.
Yeah.
There in button versus big blind, so I definitely think there's not really gonna be a balance. There's gonna be a balance issue. If we looked at my range and how I'm playing that, but I don't think it really matters.
Yeah. I don't
in
think we
real
have to worry
life.
about balance.
Yeah. Cause like the worst, like I do not want that turn to go check, check. And I think that it will go check, check at an incredibly high frequency.
Yeah, I could see the donk. I mean, I could see just the face up value donk. That makes sense.
All right, Adam, you have an exciting hand coming up.
All right, we're gonna go fold the ace deuce off. We're gonna open the queens. We're gonna fold the jack nine off. We're gonna 3-bet to a 9 in the ace king. Okay, we're not gonna
What do you mean
3-bet.
3-bet? Ace king is a drawing hand. You can't.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna flat with the ace king. Okay, and then, okay, all right. So here we are, 7, 7, 5. So this is probably a little bit like this, the paired board makes it so that it's not quite as good for the imposition player here, I think. Imposition probably does have like some calls here that connect around this board in theory. In real life, they have a ton of cards that connect around this board. I think that I am apt to out of position range check here and see what happens. I do not think that this player is going to do that with queens. I'm going to say they're going to B50 it. No, they went like
They knew-
smallish. They went
They
two.
knew,
They went.
they knew for the paired board they should bet small.
Yep.
When they bet and don't check.
Just
Alright.
fine. The ace king is going to call.
Yep.
Yeah.
And correctly so, probably.
Yeah. The deuce is like, the deuce is a good card, for villain 42, because there
Mhm.
shouldn't be a whole lot of connection
Yeah.
with the deuce. Could definitely run into some sevens, but like there could be like a ton of like 8s, 9s,
Mhm.
10s, maybe even jacks in the range behind you. There could be like sticky like 5, 6, 4, 5 stuff. Like I'm gonna go between 10 and 12 here if I'm taking this line with the queens. I think maybe like a little, maybe I should go down a little bit, like 9 or 10.
Right.
I still think that there's a lot of things that we can target with our queens.
Sure. If we are gonna check back any queen combo here, I think it should be the one with a queen of diamonds. If we're not betting 100% of our queens, I would do, you check with the queen of diamonds and you bet without the queen of diamonds
Mhm.
if you mix. He doesn't listen to me and listens to you and goes 9.
Okay.
Now. Ace king should just fold, right?
I mean, as played, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what are we going to be doing here?
Yeah.
The thing, I mean, could potentially be a lot of bluffs, like, which are all sorts of cards. We have like all sorts of combos with 2 overcards that could potentially be bluffs here.
Sure.
But we're probably not finding most of those, or at least most in real life players are not going to be finding those. So yeah, I think that this would just be a fold if I were playing it in this manner.
Yeah, it's time to get bluffed if you're being bluffed.
Well, so this card is actually in game. It should be good for us because we are the ones that have king queen. We have king jack that
Mhm.
might have continued betting
But he
twice
should've-
like this, and he should be folding them. So it's very difficult to come up with a king X hand that he would have here. So I would just keep betting, and I would bet, like, I would still be targeting kind of the same range. I probably have to go slower now or lower because of the king. So I would probably be betting like somewhere between like third pot and half pot here to try to target that 8, 9, 10 jack range. Ace 5 maybe that's getting sticky. Like I think we have to bet pretty small to get called by the hands that are worse. And if we were bluffing, I would think the king would be very scary and we could go bigger.
Can I sell you on a quarter pot to third pot bet as opposed to a third pot to half pot bet with our exact?
Yeah,
hand?
sure. I think we would just want to be small. Like I
Right.
think we want to be small.
Right.
I think a quarter pot could be fine. I'd
Yeah.
buy it.
And he goes for the half.
Yeah. Yeah, he like min clicks, a little more than a min clicks, like 2.5. Like the board's pretty dry. Like he could conceivably have 7x here. Like it's not a scary board. I'm folding here, not thinking that this is the hand. Like I would fold here because it's not.
Yeah. I
Beluga
think I would,
theory.
what I would have done here is I would have check called.
Yeah, I mean,
And I guess when you do this, you go, if I'm gonna call this, I should have check called. So since I took this line, I need to check fold. I need to fold even though it's so small.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and then remind myself I should have done it the other way. And he doesn't.
Well, yeah.
And he's not me. That's good. I like it not being me that did this. Here we go. And that's gonna count as value. All right.
Yeah,
think
something,
We're counting
some
that as-
sort of value.
Mike.
Or-
Oh,
Okay.
anything else on this hand?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
3-bet ace king.
Yeah, I guess the thing is here on the river. That half pot, if you're not gonna block bet. And block bet with the idea of betting small to induce, so therefore this happened. When you push it up to half pot. And you get this, you should say, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't try to induce this. And you should fold.
Yeah, but like the question is like what like
So small.
what hand could conceivably really bluff here? Like does this guy take like it has to be almost like a pocket pair like sixes or something like that, or
Diamonds?
I don't know, we have a diamond, so that's not really the ideal
Yeah, but I'm
situation.
saying that was why I was gonna check the turn with my diamond.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard to find a bluff. Like you
Yeah.
have to turn a pair into a bluff here, and that's happening pretty much never. Yeah, like I'm just reading Dean's comments now. Yeah, like 8-9 type stuff, 8-9 of diamonds, like ace 5, right? Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting about how much, like Mike said, pairs can just call and win a lot.
Yeah, why do they need to be bluffed?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just really hard to find bluffs on this
Yeah.
board texture. So I think you just fold. It
Okay.
sucks, but
And I think I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit, results oriented from knowing his hand. But I really do see this being a really good check call river. I mean, let's just define our hand. Let's try not to be smart. Let's play the way I played 18 months ago and just say, what is this? What is queen on a board of 7-7-5-2 king? It is marginally made. What do we do with marginally made hands? Check call. You know, this
I mean,
this is premium here. Now it's probably premium, although there's still some sevens there, but when you bet it as premium and you get called, it's no longer premium. I mean, yeah, you leave some value, you let jacks off the hook.
yeah, but I think jacks will call here every time and never raise.
Right. That's what I'm saying is
So-
by doing my check here, I get jacks off the hook. That's the disadvantage.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think you just have to be able to find the fold button when you take this.
Yeah.
It's like really like it's pretty tough to find a king in his hand.
Yeah.
But it is possible to find 7x. Like the board is like he's in position and the board's not scary.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he could definitely have 7x. You figure like ace 7, 6, 7, 7, 8.
Those are all the ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And the bizarrely played pocket fives.
yeah.
That makes, I mean, that does work. Pocket fives and pocket sevens, that does work.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to find those than it is to find any bluff though.
All right. Mike.
This one has some potential branches that could be explored. So Jack 10 suited is gonna or I'll talk in theory here first. Jack 10 suited raise, ace 3 suited is going to have a considerable amount of 3-betting, I think.
Yeah,
I doubt it's gonna happen, but in theory, it definitely could. I personally would not take that particular combo. I would use ace four and ace five almost pure, but I
Yep.
think theory spreads out along all of those low ace suited aces, kind of spreads out a bunch of it.
absolutely correct. There it is. There's your 4 and your 5, and there's your 3 and your 6.
So it should fold around, and it should fold around, and he should raise and take it. But population is going to call ace three, and they're going to call king jack off, and they're going to call king nine probably.
Ooh.
It's terrible, but that's what happens.
Oh no, something even worse happened.
Yeah, so now we're just off. Now ace three, I would, I don't know if I would, I guess it would probably be, I'd have to look around behind me. I'd have to know, see if the play, if this is Zoom, if this is a fast game,
This
I
is
would probably just fold this now because I'm assuming like most players are pretty good and they're going to have a pretty good clip of 3-bet. Like, even when I ISO to 4.5, that a lot of good players are going to take that and 3-bet wider. So I think I would probably just take ace three and fold this. If I was in my regular games where I could see a HUD and I saw the players behind me were just kind of sort of normal player, passive, I would ISO it.
right. And would you consider Jonathan Littling it, which is calling small?
No, not that early. No, I would consider it if I was on the button, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
Yeah.
I tend towards overlamp, but I can see your point.
There's the
It's
ISO.
really early.
There's the ISO, half a pot, half a big blind smaller than I want it to be. Hey, Skate's here.
Yeah, so that's definitely definitely good. Like I said, if I saw the players behind me were just kind of normal, I would ISO it.
Okay.
And if it gets around back to the jack 10, they should call.
Okay. Yep. And the king jack should absolutely fold to this now.
Yep, everybody else should fold, but
They do.
who knows? Okay, they do. Good job.
And jack 10 should call, right?
Yep.
We like that. If you're going to make the mistake of limping it, make the correct thing of calling the ISO.
All right, so jack 10 should check, and I also, well, I would check behind here with the ace three, this combo.
If the board was rainbow, I would check it all the time, and with the hearts, I would check it a little less.
Yeah, if I had clubs or like the back door, I would consider betting more often, but I'm just checking this, probably pure.
Sure, that's fine.
And well, now the jack 10 actually picks up a little something something. And he has a decent, well, he's going to get called a lot more often because he has the offsuit version of it. Could he consider a check raise here? I think now that Villain 47 has checked, I would probably start betting the jack 10 now. And I'd bet it to like a B50.
Okay. Can I sell you on a B75 because of the double flush board?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
All right, 50 or 75.
I think I feel like a bigger size is better than like a B33.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He checks.
The ace three now. Again, now that we've got, it's like the double flush and you've got the offsuit version of that double flush board. I think you want to bet it more often in this type of spot, but I'm not sure. I think I might just check behind again.
I would always bet here. Now with it, it's double flushed. I would, I'm not worried about my kick. After it goes check, check, check. My kicker is much less relevant to me. And I want to get value from.
Yeah, you're right. I think versus somebody who limped, yeah, it's much better. Whereas if this was some kind of single raise pot or something, like if we were on the buttoner and we called, like, then yeah, I think you're right. I think we can value bet ace three much more than if it were like a raised pot. Yeah.
And I don't mind if I get, and I'm, so a lot of stuff that just folds to the bigger bet folded anyway. But yeah, that's my view. I like that size bet.
Yeah, I think that's fine too. Yeah.
Right, and it probably would be okay all the way up to 12 big blinds, but this is the size I would do. Gets called, that doesn't seem crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I like you get the open enders on the turn and it's dirty. Like you're not super happy when it's a club or a heart that makes your straight. So these are always in when I've been studying these spots, the open enders fold a ton on the turn.
That's
Okay.
what I've noticed, especially on this texture where a lot of your outs are dirty.
Yeah.
You fold a surprising amount out of position. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of learned too. I mean, if it were me there, I think I would fold. In the past, I would have called because I thought you were always supposed to, but you don't in theory.
Solver folds a lot more than you would think.
So
Do
I
they
think-
ever check raise as a bluff here?
Yeah, I think raising is better than calling, to be honest.
Except you don't do a lot of check raising against this size.
Right.
I know the size, yeah, the size is quite large, yeah.
But we know he's going to call.
Yep, he does.
One thing I would
We know
point
that
out,
one's gonna be the river.
sorry. One thing I
Oh.
would point out on turn that might make us be more apt to check raise in real life is like how many guys are checking back an ace on a flush draw board like that, two-tone board. I think the number goes down a lot, and so they kind of cap their range a little bit when they check here.
Mhm.
And then if we want to put in the check raise here, it's kind of like a little bit fishy because it seems like if we had good value too, we would bet it ourselves. But their range is not necessarily wonderful when they check flop, perhaps in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And that's why I like checking a lot more here with this particular, like the low ace, just to protect that checking range and let them kind of blast off if they want to.
Yeah. I think that's all right. I would give you Mike like as like another idea is that you could bet all your ace X here, and then turn, if you get called, you can just check back turn,
Yep.
and then it's easy to bluff catch river. And you just pay attention to sizing.
Hmm.
And like if they go basically B50 or less, you're just basically always calling. And if they go greater, then you kind of are like, they got something that they kind of like over there. And just kind of, it's just another kind of line to
Yeah,
have.
I'm buying it for sure.
Yep. I-
So we got here.
I do a
And-
lot of checking with this ace three on the flop on the reason of when I check any other hand, it's not leaving my checking range as unprotected. So your argument makes total sense, Adam. I buy that. And the alternative argument was to protect your check back range. And if you're going to protect your check back range, this seems like a really good hand to do it with, a hand that when you bet and get called, you're often behind and is hard to navigate.
No doubt, no doubt. Like
Yeah.
100%. Like in theory, you I think want to do a lot of checking with your weakest top pairs.
Yep.
So
And you're
yeah, I don't fault that at all.
So on the river,
On the river, they got there and they just faced a B75 on the turn. So I think they should probably just check and then wait for the bet. But
yeah, let the guy blast his broken flushes.
yeah, now that he's checked, certainly if this was me with the ace three, I would be checking. But they're gonna bet. And he goes B50. So I like the Jack 10 just to jam it in here and, pick off their two pairs and better.
He does, basically. He leaves a cheeky 3.4 big blinds behind.
And feeling 47. I mean, just fold.
Now watch him call and not fold. Oh, he did fold. Okay. So one of the things we can point out here as we go is we're not particularly intimidated by the play at 200, are we? It's just, do you have a bankroll that you want to be playing at? Are you afraid of these players from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, you have a good point.
Like Dean pointed out, there's like very little limping. This is the first hand we saw like a limp.
You have a good point, though. I mean, it's still poker. And
We've still seen some things we don't,
it's not, we have not seen extraordinary low frequency bluffs.
Yeah.
We have not seen serious check raises. You've
Right.
got a very good point, except for the first one, right?
Yeah.
You've got a good point. I mean, it's still poker.
so that was it, the order just changed. Oh, that's what Adam just left. Okay. So that was Adam's hand, I believe, right? So Mike, you're next.
No, I just did that one.
Okay, so Dean is up. And it's go Dean, Larry, Stefan if he wants it, and then Skate, you're at the end. We sees you there. So Dean, and Dean is alive. Here we go. Oh my God, look at this. And super broken stacks. There you go, super broken stack. Ace 10 limps with a deuce 9, but should raise. Yep. Good eye. 10-10 should. I'm leading Dean. Go to 4 big blinds. I say 4.5, but okay. 3.5. He disagrees with both of us. Jack, this is not a trivial thing here. But I know what I'm going to do. What does Dean say? Can call or 3-bet. He would 3-bet. I would 3-bet this 100% of the time. I don't want to give any price to the ace 10 with his, I don't want to give any price to his king, jack, king 10, ace 5, whatever it is, overcards. I want to get heads up with jacks. And so your 3-bet size, he says 10 or 12. I think 11.5 is just fine. He says 10, good enough. I, with a king queen offsuit, I'm going to do what? Thank you. And so do the 9s. Good job, 9s. And the ace 10 has figured it out. And the 10-10 can't fold, right? Yeah, 10-10 has to call. Do, 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 do. All right. He's going to check the 10s. He does. The jacks are going to bet how much? It's on you, Dean. 3/4 pot, 3/4 to pot there. All right, let's see. Looking at this board and through the pot, I think this would be a 1/3 to a 1/2 pot bet. Oh, extra tricky. He checks. It seems a little scary with king, queen, ace, queen, ace, king, and hearts all in this guy's range. I would not check that. Oh my. How big do the 10s bet now? Half to 3/4. In my world, the 10s think that villain 53 has no jacks in his range. That he's got a lot of ace, king, ace, queen, king, queen here. That he is everything else he's bet. So the problem is how do I get called? He could have spades and he could have hearts. So Mike just says go 2E. Check again. I'm not checking again. I don't know. We'll see what he does. Dean says he could check again. So he bets small on the not trying to get it all in yet, just on the theory that my opponent never has a jack. And now with a lock on the hand, the jacks, he's saying call to try to let the spades and hearts get there. And I think you need to raise to get money from the spades and hearts when they don't get there. I think you need to raise an amount to keep them in, which is certainly you can go to 21. They'll call. But he's really doing it. Yeah, still equity to be had by king, queen and ace, king of hearts. So he just calls. He thinks that the tens have nothing. And now both of them are happy, they think. Because the flush and the straight got there and finally I can get called. So the tens bet. How big? Dean says. Does the full house ever bet small to induce? Let's see. No, he checks to induce. I don't think he's afraid of ace, king of hearts here. Is he afraid of queen, queen here? No. He's checking to induce. So now the jacks, seeing this guy is incredibly weak, how big can they bet? He never has a flush, the jacks think. So they've got to get called by a 10. So they have to bet small to induce. Mike says, what if you were on the button with ace, king and no flush? I would let's see. The tens did bet the turn. Now they check. I think I bet it. So yeah, I think the jacks may bet really small here. Just out of fear of getting called. No. They go what they believe is max value, and the tens are ecstatic. They jam, and that's what happens.
Yeah, I was thinking like if we get checked to and we're on the button with ace king, which we could very, very conceivably have.
Yeah.
I would be like really worried about value betting.
Value bet, and then I guess you have to fold to the raise. So you bet.
But I don't know if we should still value bet though? Like we would never check behind, right? Would we?
Let's look if solver ever does. I don't think solver plays this hand at all the way they played it. But we can look as played on the river and see what the ace king does, and along the way find out if just how weird this play is for the solver. It's 100 big. So, Larry, you got this one?
Yeah, can I see the run out, please?
Yep. Here you go.
All right.
World of freak. All right. You ready?
1 second.
Okay.
What was the extra tree? I missed most of the hand. Except the raise. Cut off flat.
Flop was, oh, right. Well, we're gonna have to ignore the limper. So we're gonna call this raise, 3-bet and call. So
Cut off raise. Button 3-bet.
3-bets, cut off
Cut off
calls.
calls.
And that works.
Two of spades. Jack of hearts, 10 of hearts. Okay, I'm ready to share when you want.
All right, here we go. You're up.
Who do you think has the range advantage on this texture? Hard to know. It's fine, guy. Button still has it because he's got all the over pairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of checks, correct in game.
Right, we like that. And button has a sliver of checking with Jack.
Did he check?
He did.
We get a trap check, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. The turn is the Jack of spades.
Jack of spades. What is our set? So our set does lead some.
Oh my
Our set, I
god.
guess not a lead, that's some.
Yeah.
But it's mostly trapping. This is very top of range, right?
Right. And what is his size?
He is. When he does bet, which is very infrequently, he is D75. It's right up here. He just
Okay.
doesn't. Jack 10's the only hand he has. That is better.
Right. So his
What
10,
happened in game?
the 10-10 bet a third pot.
Okay, so this is going to break
It-
solver.
No, it's got, wait, hold on. Is it gonna break the solver?
Maybe not. It's got a
Okay.
little bit.
All right.
It's doing, he could bet a third 0.2% of the time.
But it's mostly betting, he's mostly betting 125, is that right?
Mhm.
On the
If he
10?
does, yeah, if he does bet, betting 110.
Yeah, okay.
Which is interesting on this paired board, right? It breaks kind of those
Yeah.
heuristics that we're used to. 3-bet pots are weird. All right, so let's say he does take this line. What are we doing with our quads? With our quads, we are pure raising. We have no, well, a little bit. We check.
He found it. He found it.
Did he call?
He did.
Okay, and then queen of hearts. What kind of equity does tens think it has? It thinks it has, let me guess, 97% equity. 88. Not that, I'm as high as I thought. Strategy. What size did he?
Check. He
He
checked.
checked. My God, this is some kind of trapping party.
No.
Check. Everybody's trapping the trapper.
Now the
Check.
jack.
Now jacks never get here.
Right.
Because they're almost
Right. So
always
make it,
supposed to.
so go full height. That is not gonna be accurate.
And it wants to bet. Just wants to shove. Too
Right.
much to get value on, man. Flushes.
Yeah.
Two pair.
So while he doesn't,
Maybe not two pair. Yeah,
this.
two pair.
it's 125% is what he actually bet.
All right, so we're in the sliver of the sliver. We can bet 150.
Yeah.
What does your full houses mix?
They do not always jam.
But this is like we're like in a very, very
Yeah.
niche part of the solve.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, your mileage may vary and stuff.
Yeah.
Whew. I mean, we're like sliver, then sliver, then sliver. So this is
Yeah.
like a very, very unsolved part. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to see on this one?
That'll do
I
it.
just wanted to see the ace king.
Oh, right,
Okay,
that's what
sure.
it was. I'm sorry.
I saw that it was checking half the time, checking back half the time, and betting half the time, but I'm guessing it's with a heart.
On what?
The
No,
river cutoff. Begin
Cutoff
the
when- and it's-
when
and
it
it's
gets
when
when he
checks
gets
to, right?
checked. I'm sorry, the button when he gets checked to.
check. It really wants,
You need a heart.
yeah, it really wants a heart, I think. There's some exceptions, but sure, it's a heart.
Right, you want a heart and spade, and you also like spade diamond. With the ace of spades and the king of diamonds, not the ace of diamonds, king of spades. Okay, screw that.
Where's the king of hearts? Why would we never have the king? I guess we just never get here without the king of hearts.
We just must take a different line.
Yeah.
We're still in a pretty niche part of that.
Yeah.
tree. But yeah, we definitely can value better straight here.
Oh, we do have a king of hearts. We have an ace of spades, king of hearts. We don't have the other king of hearts.
Yeah.
But the
Okay,
weird
so
thing
let's say we do take a bet here. Well, we're gonna be indifferent. Let's say we do on river, we bet 86%.
Get jammed.
He's gonna jam. How's our straight feel now? Straight's a pure fold.
Right, only the ace king, and I bet that ace king of spades is only the ace king, it is only the royal flush.
We don't get here.
Oh, we don't ever have it.
Well,
Okay,
no, we do. It's called a straight flush.
there it is.
We call both our straight flush.
Yes. And we fold our straights.
Yes. All right, handing it back.
Crazy. All right. That was Dean. We're on to Larry. Larry,
right.
I give you this mess. Actually, it's not that much of a mess. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't too bad. So there's some shenanigans gonna go on here. I bet the 5-8 does some stupid stuff. But Queen Jack does get to open this on cutoff.
Mhm.
And then Ace 10 does get to defend. 5-8 should fold, 6-2 should fold.
Yeah. And it's a call. Good. Like it.
Okay, so out of position doesn't have donking here. In position on this texture gets to bet. I would like B75 this or B50 this. It's nice having some back doors. Chooses small bet, it's fine.
And this call,
How do I feel about this call? So 1 over and a back and 2 back doors, small size.
that's enough. That's enough against a small bet.
Yeah, 2 back doors, I think gets us there.
Yeah. I don't love that my backdoor is to the 10 and not the ace, but against a half pot bet, we can start folding, but against the small bet. Yep. Good. Are they both gonna bluff? Is that what's happening?
I don't think you really get leads on the top card repeating.
No.
So I would check. He has a choice to make here. I think he should feel like he has very little equity. I would polarize. I don't know what theory is here.
I would say theory is this. If we were going to continue barreling on a spade, a 9, a 10, and an ace.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I
Jack
think that-
back with value with a jack or a queen, and therefore this isn't any of those, so this is a give up. That seems like a reasonable way of approaching theory.
yes, and he has lots of kings he defends. So. All right,
And
check
then-
then. Turn should check.
And then in Hungry Horse Land, you could go and say, is this guy capped? Yes. He check raises a lot of his kings, when he gets them. So he's capped at an 8 or a pair smaller than kings that I can get him to fold on the river. And if I want to get him to fold on the river, I should be doing a bet now. That leaves me a big, huge bet on the river, but still gets a lot of value from his 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks. So I would bet now like 10, and that would make the pot 30. And then I get to bet, 70 into that on the river. So I guess that might be the Hungry Horse way to do it.
Yeah.
But he chooses my way.
Check, check.
Right.
So. Villain 59 has a semblance of showdown, blocker to the flush. You could just, I think you kind of wanted to go check, check here in theory. You take your ace to showdown, try to get your ace to showdown. Which he does, so there's something nefarious that's gonna happen here. He might, maybe he uses so you have no showdown, you should,
He needs to bluff.
you should YOLO it for like a B75.
And you have a spade blocker, so that's good.
Yeah, B75 or pot. So, I don't know how he finds this. This is really, really hardcore.
He finds that this is a capping sized bet.
Yes. This is a very hardcore check raise.
This guy never, Jack Queen never has a king here in Ace 10's mind. Jack King never has that. This is not the size he bets with a flush. Therefore, he is capped. Therefore, I can take this away from him.
Maybe he likes his flush blocker. This is now we're seeing some high level play, right? This is NL 200 high level play. So he chooses this size, and of course, King Jack's gonna fold. But this is very high level. I mean, so in the set, I mean, I might be influenced by the fact that I can see the result, but can we go through this hand again and see how he got here?
Yep.
How villain 59 got here. I mean, you've already said it, but let's just go through it again. Okay, so first thing is that he's using kind of a fishy RFI size.
No, this isn't a fishy RFI size. This
I
is
disagree. I think this is a fishy RFI size.
okay. I mean, because remember, poker coaching had this for years. So there were studied players who did this.
Okay. Okay, so
Poker coaching is still doing it, I think.
so we get this texture. He checks, of course, out of position. Okay, so he uses a small bet. All right. That's okay. So on what maybe has big bet texture. And he calls. He checks. He checks back. There's your indicator, right? He's saying to himself right here, Bill 59 is saying to himself, very few people are going to protect their checking range when they get trips.
Right.
And so check, and then he chooses the size that anybody who's trying to get value from trip kings here or a flush is not going to use.
Right.
And he's got,
yeah,
he's got an ace, he's blocking ace king, and he's blocking the flush.
Right. And he says to himself that a spade just came in. Did this guy really check a spade draw on the turn when he could rep top pair?
Yeah.
No. Did he really bet a spade this big? This size? No.
I'm curious what you guys think. I think that I think Villain 59 is a good poker player, and that this is a hard to find line. And I think you have to really be paying attention, understand range base.
Right.
I mean, I like it. It's something I'd like to emulate. I don't find this and do this now. And I don't think Solver does this, frankly. But
no, if Solver does this, Solver probably turns this into a call if it sees that.
yeah, it turns into a call, exactly.
Because, in that
Yeah, you could argue that this isn't even required, right? You could argue that trying to fold out Queen 8 suited here is not required. Well, yeah, maybe it is. I don't. It's a very, very fierce play, and I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah,
because I don't find this.
This makes me not want. This is the hand that makes me not want to play against this guy.
Yeah, it's a good
Most of them I've been fine with. All right, Stefan, if you want to go, you are able to either type something in the chat to say hi or turn on your mic. We're going to give you 5 seconds to do that. 4, 3, 2, 1. It is Skate. Skate, welcome back. This is your hand.
All right. Let's see here. We're on a 6 max table.
Isn't it nice
think,
to not see me in any of these hands? I love that. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen really, whatever disaster happened before I got here, but so in this configuration, I'm not sure if 4s are full freak. I mean, I would imagine so. Maybe 3s are mixing. Let's open 4s. 10s are gonna.
4s are not full frequency in the hijack. They're like
Low jack, no?
Yeah, they're less than half. They're,
Okay.
Like 33%, 41%, something like that.
Okay, so maybe sixes gets or even maybe even sixes.
That doesn't
mixing.
mean you have to play him. There's your hijack.
Yeah, there you go. Sevens. Sure.
But he takes it.
It's too, you know, it's too mixy for me, you know. In real life.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the fast game, you can take all these because people are folding a lot because they, you know, because they can, and nobody knows that you're opening too much. So not a bad adjustment.
All right, let's 3-bet tens. Or call.
Try that again. Let's 3-bet the tens.
Yep.
All right. We tried.
Sorry. Ace jack offsuit. I think I mean, if it were, you know, I think they could call. They could comfortably call. Well, maybe they could call more with suited, and then offsuit they want to. But I'm thinking maybe ace queen is the one that wants to do it more often. I would imagine ace jack maybe wants to do more of a calling offsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the ace jack here is a good squeeze bluff and a good fold. I think it's a bad call.
Yeah. Yeah, that probably sounds better.
And I think I like it as a squeeze bluff. And he likes it as a call. Somebody take a look at a range where we have calls in the cutoff, like just find one of the, either a chip EV model or a rake that allows this, and let's see what the ace jack does just there. So that's either Larry or Mike. Find me that. Thank you. All right, going on.
All right. Small blind fold. Big blind should fold as well.
Good. And now we get a flop.
Right. This flop is not good for the PFR, the pre-flop raiser. So let's monotones. We are going to do a lot of checking out of position. So let's check.
Yeah. The pre-flop raiser wouldn't be wrong to check his entire range here, including the queen nines of diamonds here. It wouldn't be a mistake to check range.
Okay.
10-10's kind of hard.
Yeah, even with the set, you know, in the middle they could get raised. You know, are they betting for protection? You know, not exactly, because anybody could have a flush at this point. So I think they should check in theory.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other reason they should check is they should be checking range a lot. They should checking a lot of their range in this position and let this guy stab at it. In theory, it wouldn't be the worst thing to do. And that's what makes this hand hard, because and he chooses not to do it, but he bets small against the flush board, which I like.
Yeah, it's you know, it's probably not a disaster. Okay, so yeah, ace person on the button with a single ace of diamonds here, it looks like. And top pair could comfortably call.
He can call. Yeah, he can do nothing wrong except fold.
Yep.
He goes for the call. This should be easy, and it is. I feel a diamond coming on the river.
All right, well, we have quads. Well, for sure, we can either check or bet. We don't fold. If we bet, we're gonna bet enough to get a single, you know, a diamond draw to call. So let's go with maybe somewhere around 10 big blinds.
Okay. And now let me try to sell you on 14 for the reason that if you remember our DTO study, back in March, we had third pot on the flop, pot on the turn, pot on the river were the only, were the sizes that DTO chose for all of it. They simplified it to that, so that wasn't a bad idea. But you're going 10. I'm going 14 here. Not based on, oh, he says I've got to keep the diamond in. I've got to beg the diamond to be in. What do you want to do with your ace jack now against the small bet?
Okay, so yeah, call. I mean, we have a paired board, so
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, just call it. He's doing us well, we think he's doing us a favor.
Well, there's a 1 card straight out now. No, there isn't. I'm sorry.
No.
No, it's just a paired board there. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, I think call is the best. He does. There we go.
Right. So we gotta bet. We gotta bet how much? Well, with the king of diamonds out there, I mean, obviously, it's gonna reduce slightly their combos that they're calling with. But we still want to bet. Let's bet let's bet a little bit over pot.
Good. Yeah, I think pot is our minimum bet here.
Yeah.
Because so many hands that don't have a diamond are folding to any size. So I don't think we should be betting some tiny amount to try to get, ace jack offsuit to call here, or ace king offsuit with no, something like that. Let's bet and get called by the ace of diamonds. But oh, he goes maximal cute.
He checks.
Right,
Wow.
ace of diamonds needs to
Wow.
bet. How big?
Are they gonna bet? I mean, personally, I don't even know if I would bet here, to be honest, on the river. I mean, me.
Would so bet here.
I mean, I still want to bet, as played. I mean, would anybody check a full house? I'll be so upset. Yeah, they could bet, minimum half pot.
Yeah, I'm betting full pot here.
Uh.
Even a 9 of diamonds might call full pot.
Right, they're gonna bet.
He
Ooh,
goes with half pot.
half pot. Nice. Okay, now at 10 just thinking half pot. Just thinking of whether they should. Okay, so okay, so the pot 24 or is it 34? Because
Pot is
it's not
30.
Okay, good.
Call brings it to 44. 45.
Okay, the pot is 44. The dude with 10s has to shove. Oh, yeah, just jam it.
Yep. Jam it.
Or or you could make it, 80, 83, 82, whatever.
Yeah. There we go. And now you with the ace of diamonds. Which has now been demoted.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna call here, but this just it looks very under bluffed, with us having the ace of diamonds, right? So, yep. If I would bet, I mean, it's like pot odds, call, but river as played. I'm gonna fold.
Does the guy ever find, so let's ask a question here. Do we think this is ever a bluff? as played. Let's look at the line from the beginning. Any bluffs? Raise. On the flop, right, so bets the flop small into 2 players. Bets the
No,
turn small into a caller. On the river, checks it, gets a bet. Says I have the ace. You go, you don't have the ace. This bet says I have the ace. It says you don't have the ace. So are there any bluffs here I believe in?
I don't think so.
Right. So let's first get rid of queen 9 of diamonds. Let's make sure that queen 9 of diamonds makes no sense here. Somebody could have it. It seems unlikely, but you could
Well,
have queen 9 of diamonds, but very rarely did you call the flop with it. The turn and river, all that could be queen 9 of diamonds, sure. Full houses.
What did he bet on the turn? He just
Small.
checked there.
No, he bet he bet an amount that keeps the guy in.
Yeah, and that's I should have folded because of that bet, because that bet says he has something. I want to have you.
Right.
I want to have your money.
But you really want to fold top pair with the diamond draw there?
No, probably not. But
Right. Yeah. But here.
Yeah.
Queen 9 of diamonds is not unthinkable, but all the full houses are thinkable, except
Yes.
for pocket kings. Pocket kings is the only full house that doesn't make sense. And of course, Jack Jack. I block that, and he doesn't often do that. So it's actually so the full houses are just 3 combos of 8s, 1 combo of 10s for the quads, and I don't believe Jack Jack, right? Because I don't believe this pre-flop action with Jack Jack. And not very often with 10-10. This is getting harder, but not hard for him.
yep. So okay, so he folds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He folds.
Yeah.
Good fold.
Strong.
It's wrong, but it's so
I
right.
mean, it's a very, I mean, Scotty's making a very good point in that this is a very underbluff line.
Right.
And also the king of clubs, the king of diamonds is on board.
So the hands that make the most sense here that beat me. Oh, 10 Jack. There's there's 1 10 Jack suited, 1 combo of 10 Jack, 3 8/8s, the 1 10 10, and I think you cut the 1 10 10 in half because he had to flat 10 10 here, which is maybe not the main thing. The 3 Jack Jacks, which you can cut in half because he doesn't often flat Jack Jack. And then the queen 9 suited of diamonds, that 1 combo, and maybe cut it down by half because people often fold it pre-flop here, but not all. You add all those halves together, and then you go, what are the bluffs? And you go, 0. I see 0 bluffs.
Maybe 8, 9. No, 9. No, 7, 9. But he wouldn't play that. So yeah.
Not 7 9. He's not doing it. He's not doing. Oh, I didn't even
No.
see 7 8 9 10 Jack. Oh, there's also the 7 9.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got multiple straight flushes on this board. It's a very
Yeah,
crazy
all the
board.
big flushes are there. Yeah. Yeah, so 7 9 is there. Queen 9, 7 9 is there more than queen 9, maybe. Sure.
Ace, queen.
Ace queen,
But
ace
it's blocked.
queen, you
Yeah.
can't. Ace queen can't be there. Yeah, so you add all those little halves together, and then you add what value do I beat? And he's not doing this with the queen of diamonds. He's just not. That's crazy. That's crazy play with the queen of diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's a bluff, and there's just so many more value all those half value hands added up together to the name me a bluff. And I guess you have to fold. Oof. Did you want to say something, Mike, about the ace jack offsuit pre-flop?
Oh, I just looked to see what the action was, and I found some differing
Show me.
sims depending on rake structure and or pre-flop only versus post-flop only.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, let's see something.
okay. So here it is versus, this is using a 9 max NL2, NL50 rake structure. You can see that the button is 3-betting a lot versus a 2 big blind raise and a call. That is using post flop with a 9 max, with a 9, a full table.
Right.
So there, I guess there's maybe some bunching effect going on because here is 6 max, 100 big blinds, NL50, button pretty much the same.
Except that's 2.5. Your last one was 2.
Right, exactly. Yep. So same frequency of 3-betting.
Yep.
Once you go into this rake structure of no, that's the 9 max here. Here's the live 10%.
Right, which
So
is
a raise of 2 and a call, and then now it's just all folding except for a sliver.
Yep.
And then same thing with when you go to 3x, then it's just pure folding.
Right.
So
and then in pure chip EV,
I didn't look at pure chip EV, but we can do that.
also one pure chip EV. And I think the takeaway from this is, for me, is the one thing is we're not calling it. This is a raise or fold.
Yes,
right.
right. There was no calling whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, and still chip EV. Yeah. So an okay squeeze. So he played wrong pre-flop, but boy, good for him on the river. And if you had to make a choice between making mistakes pre-flop and mistakes on the river, I would rather make pre-flop mistakes. All right, there we go. And that was, okay, let's see. Stefan, are you ready to either type an answer or did you get the microphone from your soon?
I get mic
Right.
from my son.
Welcome.
It's supposed to be. I cannot write, so
Close enough. Close enough. All right.
Close enough.
This is your hand. There you go. Enjoy.
All right. So 9-7 will probably fold, I think. A-set could open. Queen 10. If A-set open, Queen 10 will fold. So I think if you go back one step, yeah. So A-set we fold. We did not open, right?
Yep.
Queen 10.
That was
Queen
me.
10 will.
Ace-8,
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah,
one thing I do know. I know that ace-8 is a fold in the hijack.
All right. But Queen 10 could play, I think.
Has to. Yeah, Queen 10 has to play.
Yeah.
Does.
Ace-2 probably fold. And yeah. Oh. I think you should call there with Ace-9. Maybe raise 50-50.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's what that looks like. There's your hijack with no ace-8. Here's your cutoff with all Queen 10s. Has to do it.
Yes.
And here is your big blind. That ace-9 just doesn't fold. It's got that sliver there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So calls. Everything is good. So Mike, is this a pure donk board against the cutoff or only against the early positions?
I don't think it's not gonna be pure against cutoff, I don't think. And
Okay.
I don't think this board with the flush draw included is going to be so much of a donk board.
Okay, good enough.
That's my guess. That's just my guess.
All right, back on you, Stephen. Stefan.
I probably would check here.
Okay.
And actually call if he doesn't bet too much.
Right.
So
And then you
yeah,
with the king queen, are you gonna continuation bet into this nonsense?
check.
He's gonna check. All right, and that's what they did, check, check.
That didn't help. This was a hard one, I think. Probably check again.
He goes with it, he goes with the almost zero improvements. You know,
Yes.
only going for the, oh no, he's got the straight draw. He's got the 7. He can bet here.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, this is a fine bet.
Yeah.
Bets half pot.
No, I think I should just.
Straight draw, 1 over, no hearts.
Yeah, I think this is a 50-50, maybe sometimes call and sometimes fold. I would
Yes.
not have tried to raise it. I would not have tried to raise this.
Yep, he does. And
Yes.
now,
I think he should continue betting because, yeah, there's a straight on the board almost now, and he has the 9. So yeah, bet 50, 75, something like that. I think that's too small. I think, but all right.
yeah, he's block betting. He's just block
Yeah.
betting second
Yeah.
pair,
Okay.
figuring that a jack can't raise him. And that he's gonna, and that this is gonna block the guy from bluffing him, which isn't actually what happens. There's a raise.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, these must be a fold, I think.
Oh, yeah, got fold.
Yeah.
All right, skate. Is that true? Or is it, or did I jump ahead? I don't know what I did. It's skate. I may have skipped Larry. I don't remember if I skipped Larry,
You may have, but okay, I guess so.
but he hasn't said anything about it, so. There we go.
I like it when skate takes in.
All right, I'm pretty trash, but I'll try my best. Let's see here. Ace 5 off on the button. We could open, and yeah, let's take it down with Ace 5 off.
Does Jack 9 suited in the low jack have anything in the low jack?
Jack 9 in the low jack. You gotta have some bluffs, right?
I don't think
I would say Jack 10 maybe, but Jack 9, yeah, I think it's
so.
too.
I think it's Jack 10 too.
Yeah, maybe in the cutoff you could start doing
right.
Jack 9.
Yeah, oh, in the cutoff, definitely. Cutoff,
Yeah.
even the hijack has Jack 9.
Ooh, even hijack, yeah.
But yeah, there you
Okay.
go. Right. In which case, we think it's possible he might limp, right? Knowing how people play?
I mean, he may, but
No, just plays it a little aggressively.
All right.
And in the 2 big blind range, that might, not the 2.5, that might actually extend a little bit of Jack 9. So that might not be a mistake.
all right. Let's do it. Okay. It should. I think this is well, in this, now that we can see the cards, is pretty good. The 6-3 in the big blind should call.
Yeah.
This
Given
for
only
one
two
more.
Yeah.
For one more.
I think I don't know if the Jack 9 played this correctly, but it's not bad. And I think the 6-3 absolutely did the right choice. Adjusting to the 2 big blind size.
All right. We have nothing going on except the backdoor as the caller. So let's check. I think bottom pair may be good enough to bet here, since the big blind called. On a flush draw board, Yeah, let's take a bet. Let's go with 2.5.
I'm gonna say 1.5 because there's locked up equity.
Mm.
And the locked up equity, Jack Queen, Jack King, and 8 Jack. Jack 8 suited is in his range. Jack King offsuit is often in his range. And and technically our hand is marginally made, so this wouldn't be the worst hand to check. If we're betting range on this board, it's a good board to bet, and I don't think this is a bet range board.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't like bet on this board as I was kind of alluding to previously, but
I kind of like
I
his play there.
I mean, we can.
Yeah, I wouldn't fault him
probably-
for that.
Yeah, we probably can bet. I mean, as he's just judging by the way he's opening and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm guessing he's gonna bet, but yeah, you're right. I don't like a bet too much here.
That's not too bad.
So the straight draw doesn't have anything to do with the bet size there, because maybe you should bet half to build or something.
So here's a way of thinking about this, which is, this is a simplification. This is not exactly what solver does, but if you do this, you will get a result that is that is close to solver's output, which is when you've got a draw and a made hand, consider the made hand portion of it as more important, and the draw is just extra. So if you just look at this 9 Jack and decide, do I want to bet it? If you had ace Jack here, that would be a good bet. If you had Jack, what other Jack would you have here that makes sense? You could have, let's see, you don't have Jack 7 suited here. So yeah. Yeah, so you've got ace Jack offsuit here. You could choose to bet your ace Jack offsuit here as a draw. That'd be fine. But once you've got the 10 Jack or the 9 Jack, then your hand is, the 10 and the 9 are marginally made, so those become the thing. And if you have Queen Jack, the Queen being top pair, well, that's worth a bet for its premium value. And then you get the nice thing is, and because I have a Jack, if I get raised, I still can call with any of those. So that would be the simplification in how you think of the Jack here. Is the 9 is more important than the Jack, and the 9 checks. And then the Jack also makes it more resilient that, if one of the overcards you like the king. All right. So check, check.
All right, so we got a straight. That means that the big blinds should check for sure. Then we on the straight. Well, this is interesting. Well, I don't imagine them checking many, even the worst. Let's say, if big blind had a flush at this point, let's say they checked any 2 clubs and they got here. I don't imagine them checking on the turn. So yeah, so I think that our straight can bet here.
I agree. And get value from a singleton club, among other things.
Yeah.
Get value from a 10. A little bit.
Okay, let's go. At least pot. Maybe even. Yeah, we could probably go like somewhere around 6 or. Yeah.
I'm a little. This one I want to look at a solver for because I'm afraid of going to bigger than pot, because bigger than pot we start to isolate ourselves only to weirdly played flushes, other jacks, weirdly played other jacks, and only the flush draw, only the ace of clubs, kind of king of clubs, and those hands do have equity against us. So I think I want to bet enough that I want to bet smaller so I get called by a 10. That's, I don't mind 4.5, but I'm afraid of 6. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say pot at
And
first.
this guy, and this happens.
But
Oh,
he bets out.
He bets out on his theory of you have nothing. This board is scary. You would have bet your flushes. And in the worst case scenario, I could hit a 7 and get a straight, since you never have a jack here without raising me. And if you raise me, I just fold. So maybe that's what he's thinking. If he is at all thinking. Facing this.
Okay, facing this, I think all that we could do is comfortably call.
Yeah, we're splitting with a lot of his bets.
Yeah, King Jack is, you know, is a better straight than us. So
Yep.
even the flush out there, you know, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta call.
Yeah, so. Just call. I like that call.
Think about bricks.
All right, so I don't know what's the villain 71 is gonna do, but I mean, I think the best thing they can do is check.
Just completely give up. Just not try to shoot their way out of it. Just know that on this one card straight when he called.
Yeah, because I mean, mainly they don't have any blockers. They don't have the king or the ace of clubs. So
Yeah.
on a one-liner, I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
But he decides to shoot. And he decides to shoot an amount that might get an 8 to fold, maybe. It's a weird bluff. It's not big. I mean, what's he trying to get to fold here? Just the king of just the raw king of clubs? Because the raw king of clubs is going to fold to this, right?
Yep.
And what king of clubs raw does he have that doesn't have a kicker that paired? How low did he open kings in the low jack? King 10. King 10, king jack, king queen, and king and ace king. So is he going to get ace king with the king of clubs or the ace of clubs to fold here for 4? Maybe not. He's definitely not going to get king 10 to fold. I think this bluff needs to be 6. But
The-
goes. What's the fun?
I was just thinking the only way I can see it is that he's trying to bluff, telling him, I want you to call me because I have the flush. That's the only way I can see this. Or
Okay.
maybe, yeah. If
Right. The
like you
flush,
say,
the
you have
flush
to
betting so small that everything has to call it. Someone who wants to go frequency over magnitude.
Yes.
Okay. And this raise from the jack, which is what's about to happen, saying you never have a flush here with this. I'm going to raise you off your jack to try to raise you off a chop. This seems like just such an easy call with a jack and not a raise. But he does the smallest raise he can to reopen it.
Was a tough play.
I think this is not good. I don't think this is someone who's so much, I don't think this is a 200 NL player who's so much better than me that they're seeing all these things here. I think this is a mistake. I could be wrong.
Well, I
What
mean,
do you mean? Oh, yeah,
in
sorry.
theory, the risk reward isn't there, right?
Yeah.
You're opening up the betting, allowing yourself to get check raised at some frequency for not a significant reward. If you're going to open up the betting, you want it to be bigger. I mean, you know, if he has
That's what I think.
ace jack of clubs, it's a different story. But here, yeah, it's just the risk reward isn't there.
That I agree. And I think that if he was let's make him much, much better than me, not just better than me. If he's much, much better than me, he
I
can
don't
look
think,
at
I
this
don't
and
think that's
say,
possible, Scott.
yes, it is. If he looks at this, he can say, you have no bet raise 3-bet bluffs. Therefore, I only put in 4 more. I can safely fold to all of your raises. I get a few of your jacks to fold. And if you're a bad player who's going to call me with 2 pair, I get value from your 2 pair. So I knock you off some chops if you're nitty. I get some calls if you're a station, and I only risk 4 big blinds because I never call your 3-bet because I'm always beat by it. You have no 3-bet bluffs and you
Okay,
have no 3-bet overvalues.
okay.
So if you did that, this bet is not stupid.
All
I
right.
think this bet is a mistake. All right. Do we want to just move on, or do we want to look at this in solver? And I guess let's put him in, let's just move him to the hijack where he has the jack 9.
I have a, what did he do on the turn? Did he bet? How about tripling him on the turn? Is that a bad move to see if after flush, or if he's just trying to? So in this here, how about 10 blinds or something there?
Yeah, you would do that. You would do that to get value from an ace of clubs that will call you. And just say that he doesn't have clubs very often, and I guess to fold to his if he 3-bets you here. But that was the thing, is here it looked like he was choosing to play it safe. And I guess he just looked at this size and said, this size doesn't make sense for a flush.
Doubt.
You don't have
So
flush.
we want to look at this, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, let's look at this with him in the hijack.
He's not gonna have 6-3 though. It doesn't matter. 10 of spades.
He can have 6-4. He has 6-4, same hand. But he's not gonna ever bet this. I mean, this turn bluff was dumb because when he gets there with the 7, it's just, he can't get any value from the, the 4 card and with a jack.
Yeah.
I think. But who knows?
All right.
I don't
I'm
care
ready to
if- I
share it.
Yeah. And I guess that my point is, I don't care very much if the big blind played it wrong. It's the low jack, or in my case, the hijack that I'm asking about here.
Okay, so no docking on this texture. Jack 9. Well, we're mixing, right? This is kind of a jump ball texture, I think.
Question, do
generally.
we have the 2 big blind open also, just for fun? Or do we not have that?
Yeah, I can do that.
You own that. Let's do that. I think if you just do GTO sizing, there's 2 big blinds from the low jack, and we'll see if. Opening size GTO. Okay, so now let's first look at the under the gun and see, is Jack 9 in this sizing? Go back one. Go back to the under the gun range here and see, does he get Jack 9 in this thing? He does. Let's put him there. So good for him. He knew it and I didn't. And now the big blind range. Big blind has the 6-3. Great.
Check. What did he do on flop here with his Jack 9?
On the flop, I believe he went check. I believe the flop was check, check. Yeah, he played carefully. And so let's look at that first and see if my whole speech about don't bet the 9, how true that was.
Yeah, you're mostly checking.
And he has the jack nine, specifically, he has the jack nine of diamonds here. So rollover is jack nine. Yep. So solver mixes, and Jonathan Little taught us in the simplified Jonathan Little world that this was a check, and that was his thing, was saying you miss some of the bets that the solver does, but it'll even out. So if you bet it, not bad.
Check.
He plays a simplified world.
Eight
Turn
clubs.
eight of clubs. The magical eight of clubs.
Did 6-3 dunk this?
6-3. Donked it for 2.
So he does get dunks down here. Not less with this. Well, he does dunk this quite a bit.
Oh, look at that. Holy gosh, these guys are good.
What size did he use? A B33?
He went 2 big blinds, so let's call it the 2.25.
Under the gun, jack nine,
Just call.
call.
Perfect.
What was the river?
River was the comical 2 of hearts.
That's right.
And now
Okay, so he's dunked. What does he do with his?
6-3. Does he fire? He continues to fire.
Yeah, he
Oh my God,
does.
look at his size.
Yeah, he's got a lot of blocker size.
On the 6-3 of spades, he does the small size.
Is that what he did in game?
He did 4.
Man.
Yeah. Oh my
Someone's
gosh.
using RTA.
I am.
This is an unusual line. Someone is using RTA here. It's hard to find this line in game.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna give him the B28.
Yeah, we'll look at both of those. We'll do the 28 first.
Now, what do our straights do?
All right, good. I'm happy.
Yeah, they just check back. This is except for the nut straight. Just the king jack.
Yeah.
Everything else is just gonna call.
Okay, good. Now it won't make a difference, but give him the 5.5. That's not gonna change it. But just to make sure.
Interesting with the flush now on board. King jack's not as interested unless it has a blocker to the flush. Of raising. It raises with the king of clubs, I freak, but everything else.
Yep.
Just calls.
Even then, not pure.
Yeah.
They're not straight. All right.
Okay. Bring
Great.
it back.
All right. Up next is. Who did that hand? Anybody remember who did that hand?
I think it was the skate.
I was a skate hand.
Oh,
Oh, and Larry,
no.
did you get one in that round? Did I skip you in that round?
I'll take one.
Okay, you got this next one.
All right. Geez, what's going on here? It should fold around a 10-8 suited. 10-8 suited is allowed to RFI.
Okay.
6-4 suited is allowed to defend.
Ace-4 is allowed to be overly aggressive when he only goes to 2 big blinds.
Yes. So ace-4, the 10-8's is a broken stack. I think it's a fold or a 3-bet here. It's definitely not a flat. But
Why
he
he's
is a
gonna
broken stack, so he's gonna call. Yeah, it's just a fold. He's gonna call, and now weird shit's gonna go down.
I think this might be a mistake from the 4-6 to fold here. I know you're supposed to get tighter with a caller in between, but I don't think you get tighter at 2 big blinds. I don't think you get that much tighter here. If anybody feels like looking it up, go ahead.
well, you can look this up. You got
I don't have
lots,
2
right?
big blinds. Do I have 2 big blind
I
ranges?
think you do.
Okay.
What was the question, Scotty?
In the 2 big blind open, does the 4-6 fold here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think this is too tight. Somebody, we'll check that and then we'll go on.
I can, okay, yeah, we'll check it after. So, okay, so. This is the highest check position in poker. I would check. Chooses not to check. Using an unconventional one big blind bet, which you do not see in cash poker.
Yep.
He's playing face up. So our villain 79 has a myriad of options. We are off sovereign land here. Would I consider, if I had a full stack, would I consider raising the position? I don't think so. I don't think he raised the position that much. I would just call.
Yep, check raise it if you were out of position.
Yeah,
And-
check raise
oh,
would be
yeah.
out of position. We turn it to, this is gonna get interesting. I think we see what
Oh,
happens
yeah.
here. So, villain 78 is gonna polarize. He's gonna go to like 275 or pot.
Mhm. Goes pot.
Pot. Villain 79 has no reason to raise in position to this polarizing size.
Nope.
But should certainly call. We're seeing he's getting precisely the pot odds to call.
Right, plus the implied odds of the river. This is easy. Yep, got a call.
Hello. So
Hello,
it's
second.
straight. I would describe this straight as somewhat hidden. In the
Mhm.
fact that it's not an obvious combo for him to have. He only has 4 combos in theory.
Well, there's the
Um,
tens.
Ace 4. Yeah, there's other flushes out there, other straights out there. King 10. So, I think this still falls in a value region and
I agree.
you need to bet like what we potted river. I think we sized down though. Now there's completed equity. So I would size down to a B50 or B33.
Sure. B33 seems good. And then don't fold to a raise when you bet that small.
Well, I don't know if it missed it. Yeah.
Oh, he bets big.
Ooh.
Okay, so now, yeah, so that's the thing now. So when you use this big bet and you get raised, you can fold. So he's gonna shove. I assume Villain that's gonna shove, he does, and your pot odds are like, oh my god, look at my pot odds. My pot odds
You
are so
beat queen
good.
jack.
I have 2 pair. Beat some, do I beat value?
Beat queen jack and jack nine, and both of them can be here.
Yeah. So, I look at my pot odds and I probably call and cry again.
Yep. Yep.
My pot odds are just too low.
Yep.
We double up the fish.
We double up a fish. All right. And pre-flop, let's take a look at this. Did you grab that for us, Mike?
Yep, it's call in all the reg structures, even at 2.5.
Okay. So let's take a look at this. Oh, okay. You just got that. Yeah, that's what I figured. Even 2.5. Okay.
It goes away at 3x.
Right. 3x and the call. Right.
Correct.
Okay. Sounds good. Right. Next is me, I believe. Yes. And ace 4 is a fold. Queen 8.
Share.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. All right, here we go. Ace 4 is the fold. Queen 8 suited in the cutoff can open. Deuce 9 needs to fold. 3-3 should fold, but may not. And Jack 6 suited against the cutoff is playing, and it's playing with some raises, with about 50% raises. So if it was me, I would raise this combo. Let's see what he does. Now, once the 3-3 comes in, then I think your raises go away for the Jack 6, and I think you should just fold it. Let's see that. Here we go. All right. So here's your cutoff. There's your Queen 8, easy raise. Finds that. Yep. There's your big blind jack six with some raises against it. But when when you get the small blind call, the jack six goes away and he needs to fold. Good for him. Now, the 3-3, is that in this range? The small blind range? Sure, sure it is. Right there. Look at it. Excellent play. I think a 3 is coming on the river or the turn, people. So, threes need to check fold here. Check. Even against this small sizing, they need to fold, but they did not come here to fold. They came here to hit a 3 on the turn. All right. Might as well still check. There we go. Queens. Lots of cards, that you can beat. You lose to other queens, which is bad, but 10 jack is still there. All the nines are still there. You're not done with value. Bet 7. Holy shit. Is this to induce or is this fear? Now the threes. Bet here, bet the 2. And the queen says to himself, this is never the size of a flush. This is the size of a 9 or a king, and I can get value from that. Because he checked to induce, not because he was afraid of his kicker. And if he was afraid of his kicker, he said, even a queen doesn't bet this size. That's what he's saying to himself. He's wrong. And that's where his raise is. He thinks this is a value raise and he's about to find out.
What?
Oh,
What?
oh my
That was a
God.
misclick, right?
What a miss.
Dude, I
Wow,
feel like this has to be the last hand of the day. This is just too absurd.
that feels like a
So-
misclick or a timeout.
Maybe
I'm
it's
ashamed to say that I actually did this exact thing a couple of days ago where I had sevens and it turned to a flush on the river and I did not notice because I was multi-tabling, only playing 4 tables, but I did not notice that I had a full. But actually the slight difference is I called rather than shoving. So it actually is not the exact same thing. So it's the 3s here, I had sevens and I called rather than going over with the full house.
this is not a bad, not to go over the top of this raise, because this raise is claiming a full house. Or, a flush a flush folds to a lot of your re-raises. This guy has king, queen in his range, right? The way it was played, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He bets
Yeah.
the flop, call, check, and he doesn't check here with king, queen. King,
Yeah.
yeah. King can play like this. King, queen probably doesn't. 9-9, unless he's being tricky. Yeah. So yeah, I don't hate a call from the 3s.
No way, of course. I mean, that's a call, but yeah, you don't hate it if you didn't re-raise.
I don't hate him not
Fair enough.
re-raising this.
Fair enough. Maybe I hate mine not re-raising, but maybe I'm working in hindsight that I had them beat, right? But
Right.
yeah,
We also have to-
I had to take a break when I got distracted by that, not
Yeah.
noticing I had a full house.
So I have a question about when you're multi-tabling. So I multi-table 2, almost never 3. And when I multi-table 2, I feel that I can look at each hand and think reasonably, but that I have no sense at all how the other players are playing at the table, except for their HUD stats. When I'm at 2 tables, when I play at 1 table, I notice things like he's changed his bet size and, this guy's done a lot, he's bluffed in the past. I know nothing about my players. I have no sense except for their HUD numbers. How about you guys? Are you
Yeah,
taking
true.
some players at 2 or more
I
tables?
agree. I mean, if you play 2 or 3 or more tables, you are sacrificing subtlety for EV.
Yeah.
You're giving away EV for volume is the better way to put it.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, and I mean,
So one thing I do, and I'm not saying it's necessarily a proven tactic, it's something that I've started doing, is I will look for key players on the table, i.e. fishes or soft players, and tag them, and I will probably focus more on them than I would the other players, so that I save my energy and my brain power for them, and probably play worse against the harder players, but not go as strong against them as well. So I'm probably sacrificing EV against the stronger players, but I'm reserving that for the weaker players, if that makes sense.
so when you're playing at 4 tables, how do you detect that someone's playing like a fish at a table? Where are your eyes? Because I just don't see the hands that I'm not in to pick that up, because I'm looking
So
a hand somewhere else.
if a big hand goes on, that'll draw my attention. And I'll look at the plays there and maybe tag someone based on their plays there. I will also quite often tag broken stacks, not as they're 100% a fish, but I'll be like, okay, there's someone broken stack is straight away a flag for me. Someone, what's it called? Posting the blind out of position, so joining the table and posting the blind straight away. That'll flag something for me as well. So I'll monitor a hand where they're in and the pot's getting a bit bigger and just see how they play and see their showdown. And then as soon as I have maybe, and this is, I guess, a little bit information bias, but as soon as I have a little bit of information that I guess confirms that, okay, they are a bit softer, I'll tag them. And then when I'm in an opportunity to play against them, I will, I guess, focus a bit more on that play to try and get a higher extraction of value from them.
Okay.
So
So
then every other player, I
picking up-
kind of go default, I guess, GTO to what I can do, it's GTO, because obviously I'm no expert, right?
So
Yeah,
when
he really articulated the exact same things that I would have said. You tend to see, and I play 3 to 4 tables, and you tend to pick out the people that are definitely on the fishier side of things. All those qualities that Richie mentioned, like you see that right away, and you tend to now pay more attention when you're against those players. And yeah, he really explained it pretty well. You see that and you tag them, and then you start to pay attention a little bit more to those particular players.
Gotcha. So maybe the place my eyes need to go is if I'm not in a hand. So you've got a little tag that says possible fish at each table, whoever they are. And then, so you look at your hand that you're supposed to be playing, make your decision. And once you're out of that hand, rather than watching how that hand plays out on your table, go look at the other tables at what are my fish doing? Are any of my fish in a hand? Let's watch them.
Yeah, very much so. And then there's an opportunity as well. If you obviously have the hand history up and you miss a big pot, if you have the hand history display in, you can see a big pot in the hand history. And then I go, oh, I missed that one. And if it's quiet, go back and review it, quickly just to see what's gone on there, right?
Right.
And see if there was anything out of the ordinary, and then potentially tag someone based on the data I've got from that
Now, do
information.
you ever
But
oh, go on.
But I started my multi-table conversation that I missed that I had a full house, right? Just to highlight.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So,
But
okay.
go on.
Oh, yeah. So I'm thinking maybe the 2 habits that I should get into is, I think what happens is that I tend to continue to look at the table that I made the last action at. So if I've folded a hand and I don't have cards at another table, so I'm in my all fold mode, I tend to watch the table that I'm just at, like what happens at this table. And what I should be doing is go look at the other table or tables and say, is a fish in the, do I have a fish to watch to confirm or deny my fish stats on it?
How do you lay your tables out, Scotty?
I'm only doing 2, so they're right next to each other. I see them both.
Okay, so you see them both. Yeah, I tile mine, so I can see all 3 or 4 of them at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So I have no desire to move to 3 tables yet, much less 4. I just want to get to the point. I found that 2 tables, I did think I was playing like in a vacuum decently well, like just playing my hands as if they were fast fold tables. And I played 2 fast fold tables at the same time a lot, and I feel total comfortable with that. I don't mind the speed. but I know nothing about the players, but I know nothing about the players anyway. I find when I'm at regular tables, I just have I look at that table and go, tell me something about each of the players at this table. And I'll go, he's a 53-8. I have nothing else I can say. Whereas if I have if it's the only table I'm playing, I can tell a story and try to tell you how they're dressed. I don't claim I'm right. I'm claiming that I have a picture in my mind, and I have none when I'm multi-table. So this seems like a good way to do it. And then the other thing maybe is when I need to review a hand, maybe I sit out the next blind and spend the time and give myself full time to do a review at a table. Because you can sit out blinds at a cash game for 1 round or 2 rounds anytime you don't get bounced off the table. Do you guys ever do any of that sit out, or is that just?
Yeah, I've done sit outs, one either to review or a hand that I found very interesting, or where I've made maybe a blunder, or even positive tilt as well, right? Where you've just taken, you've done something pretty out of the ordinary and it's paid off, and you're kind of on a high and you just want to recenter yourself.
I think I'm going to go down in stakes and do that at 2 tables and try to really get an idea of other people's play more than the numbers. That'll be my goal for this week. Okay. Thank you. And we are on to this bit of wow, which was my hand. So up next is Richie. And yeah, maybe it was a misclick.
Okay.
I guess if we tag this in our is it value, our thing is going to say this is value.
Yeah, I'd say that's a value raise.
Yep, he thinks it's a value raise. Certainly not. He certainly isn't doing it as a bluff. Is he trying to bluff somebody off a flush? No. All right, that's what that is. Richie, your hand.
Okay, so the A7 opens. Yeah, it doesn't do that. Actually, like raise it bets rather than limps bet. Okay, 4-7 folds, 3 queen folds, 6-5. They could go for isolation here with a just slightly larger than normal bet/raise.
Yep.
And then both 4-9 should really fold. If someone does isolate here, if it becomes a limp, then obviously 4-9 is going to check, and the 4-9, well, the 4-9 small blind should still fold. The 4-9 big blind should check.
Right. And I would say that calling the 5-6 here is not a huge mistake. Jonathan Little says it's fine to limp, but don't open limp, but limping behind is fine. And this is a perfectly fine hand to limp behind. It's also a perfectly fine hand to ISO with. And he goes for the limp behind. Oh, and this is going to be our last hand because I'm in it. Perfect. Not going to play for long, but I'm in it.
You never know. You might hit something if you're being allowed free flop.
Right. And here's the thing about this, that the exploit, I've said this before, I'm going to repeat it, which is when you're looking at bad hands in the big blind and people have made the mistake of limping and you're considering going, well, they've all limped, they're weak, I'm going to raise this. Your exploit of them is the fact that you got to see a flop you never were supposed to see. That's your edge. Don't raise this 4-9 here.
At what point would you class it as time to raise? So like what hand strength would you class it? Because obviously at a certain point you have the hand strength that you want to start building the pot pre-flop as well, I suppose, right? As well as isolate certain players, So in this situation, you would probably want to isolate the very first limper who's made the mistake rather than the second limper.
So every hand, so let's start with this. Every hand that goes raise call and that I would 3-bet here is a 3-bet here against a limp. So you're at least that big, every one of them. Now, which ones, how much bigger do you go? Let's first add in all the ones that are mixed frequency that you would do sometimes, but not all the time. And I suspect that might be enough. That might give you enough hands.
Okay.
So just start.
And would you tend to go 5 blind? No, wait. What would be here? So 3, 4,
5 and 6.
5 and 6 blinds. Yeah, I was going to say
5.5. 5.5 is the Jonathan Little approved size. So going 5 is okay. Going 6. When I'm at a table where I have to type it in, I've been going 6 because it's faster to type 6 and hit. And at tables where I have, where it's the buttons, I hit pot +1 and go on with my life.
Okay.
You know, so that's how I get there. So yeah, 5s and 6s. And then it also depends on how serial a limper this guy is and how much he calls off. So, if this guy has been limping a ton, so he's just got a massive range and he's been folding to my 5.5s, then I'm going to go, you know, but if he's massive limp and calling off, I'm going to go bigger with the hands that I need folds with and smaller with the hands that I want calls. So I don't need a fold with ace king, but I really need a fold with, when I do this with queen 10 suited, and I'm going to do it with queen 10 suited.
So Richie, I put in chat the range I came up with for dealing with multiple limpers out of the blinds.
Yeah.
This might be a little too loose, but this is what I came up with.
What's the
let's look
difference
at- probably
between
on
the
the
call
loose
and the
side.
raise though, Larry?
Say it again.
What's the difference between call and raise?
Call is just overlimp or option check.
Oh, where you're, I'm assuming you're in the big blind here, right?
This is actually, I built this for the small blind,
Oh,
but,
small blind. Okay, that makes sense. There's folds. That's why I was curious about the folds.
Right.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I built it for the small blind,
Okay.
but maybe a
Limp,
little loose.
you're in the small blind to complete. I can live with all that. And then your raises. Okay. So you don't have any bluff raising in this region. Your bluff raises are pretty strong.
Yeah.
This is your only bluff raise, is the king 5, is your only real bluffy bluff raise is the king 5 suited and the solver special, which isn't even that bluffy. Everything here is good. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. You're certainly not out of line with that.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Yeah.
For the small blind.
Okay. Cool. Let's see what happens on our last hand of the day.
Yeah, so it checks out, doesn't it? Okay. So you got a gut shot, eh?
In this.
Do you remember this hand or not?
No, not at
Yeah.
all.
Okay. Well, you should check, right?
This hand was played in.
My gosh, everyone's got a little piece here as well. This is quite
Yeah,
funny.
this hand was played in 2022. I do not remember it.
Okay. So check for you.
Yep.
Out position, really limper, not great hand. I'd check as well. So they've got equity, right? But they've also got position. So is it wrong if they took a stab here? You know, they've got the open-ended straight and a backdoor flush, or should they be checking because of the equity?
Both are right, I bet.
I like the bet.
Yeah, I think I like bet because of the position as well. And you haven't got great showdown down the line. So if you check too much, it's already capping you a bit, I guess. So I would bet here. I'd probably go, it's multi-way pot, so no more than a third. So I probably, I'll do a blind. It feels like you should blind too small, but then a blind and a half, is that too big? Maybe a blind and a half. It's more than the 33% in a multi-way, but one blind just seems too small. I don't know if you agree or
I think
not.
our idea of the heuristic of bet small and multi-way pots, I think changes in this limped pot because every bet is small. I mean, the pot is a small bet, you know, relative. So if you went 2/3, if you went to 2 big blinds here, I wouldn't say, no, multi-ways have to be small because it's an absolute small.
It's a small bet still. Okay. And it's small stack size because everyone's full stack over 100. Yeah. Okay. 2 big blinds then. I was sticking more to the percentage rather than the actual physical element. And it checked through, did it?
Yeah. Which also is not a huge mistake you can realize.
Okay.
All right. Please do not turn a 9. No 9. All right. I'm fine.
Okay. You just check it through still, right? Because
really? I don't think I bet here.
So you're not going to win it if you don't bet, right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's, I don't know. My thought is you shouldn't be here. There's two people either in the pot, so the chances of someone hitting something, having something, even a pair, is reasonable. I would have preferred the betting and you doing a check raise bluff personally, but leading here, I guess you could, right? Because no one has shown interest at the minute, just because you do have some form of equity if you hit the straight. Well, if you hit the straight on the draw, and if someone massively goes over you, you can just fold and get out the way. But my instinct is, I don't know why it's checking here, because I feel like more than often or not, someone's going to have something here, and you're not going to get a fold unless you don't mind the callers, and then you hit the straight, which buffs the pot a bit, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you were to bet, then how much would you do?
Oh, if I bet here, I'm betting, not
still?
betting about 3.
3, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm setting it up because I'm setting it up for a river bluff also. So here's the one thing. I don't know if I bet here. I might not even be seeing this table. I might have already checked out. But who here is most likely to have a jack right now?
Yeah, I guess you, isn't it, really, with the limpers, but yeah.
I have the most jack rich range.
Okay.
Either of these guys can have a 7 or an 8. This guy can have a jack, but not a lot of the time. I have all my jacks. And can I get a 7 or an 8 to fold by the river?
You could also have the really random broken 2 pair, right? I suppose. I know that's stretching it now, but
I can have 7 deuce.
You could literally get, that's what I mean. You could have anything here, right? So
I'm the only one that
I
has
think
7
it's
deuce.
reasonable.
I'm the only one that has 7 deuce and 8 deuce.
Yeah. Okay, so you actually do lead it.
I do. I like the fact that I play like me.
You remember this hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so the A7. I don't know. I think they should get out the way here. They don't have any diamonds. They're a 3rd pair. You're leading now, which indicates you might have something, and there's still a player behind, right? If the player wasn't behind, I would protect.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be in
if
this
you reverse
situation.
where these two people are sitting, this is an easy call for the A7.
Yeah, but
Now it's
because
not
there's a
easy.
player behind, you fold it. You don't have enough equity. It's just.
But I expect he's going to call because he open limped.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, so these people don't fold a pair.
Okay.
He does.
Oh, there we go. And then this person obviously calls, right? Because we're going to at the very least, they could raise, but then you would fold, so they're going to call, I'd say. So yeah, calls.
So this is going to end badly for me because I think I'm going to pick up a 9 on the river. Or I'm going to continue the bluff. I am continuing the bluff and he's going to get there. That's what happens. No. Oh, don't tell me that I bluff this and then he rebluffs me. God damn it. I don't want the day to end this way. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop the recording right now. Oh God.
If you stop the recording, I think your subscribers are going to rise.
Do you know we actually have subscribers? I think we have 4.
Excellent.
I don't know how many subscribers we have. I never looked. We have some. But if anybody's watching this on YouTube, and
the question is, do you check raise bluff here? Maybe you're the one doing the shoving off by check.
Oh, I'm not that good.
No.
Wow.
You are blocking 9-10.
Yeah.
I check up. And
so you think you're more likely gonna bet? You think you're gonna bet, and he's gonna raise you? They're gonna raise you, is it? I'm going to go with the other line. I'm going to put faith in you from a few years ago. I'm going to say you're going to check raise.
This sounds so much not like me. Please. No, I bet. I bet big.
Okay.
I represent it, and
then they raise.
Fires me off, and he gets that. And
okay.
He gets it. I want to go back to playing 25-cent, 50-cent. This is stupid. All right. And by the way, just so you know, what actually happened here is I 4-bet it and he folded. Just so you know, I remember it. God damn it! I blocked it. Look at it. I blocked the nuts. How can I not? How can I not? All right.
Question for you guys tomorrow.
Yes.
I was thinking of doing another 3-betting out of position trainer session. But this time just giving us ace king, so we focus on what we would do just with the suited combo. and
Oh,
the unsuited
wow.
combo. Cause maybe that we can draw out some heuristics from that.
An all church day. Sure.
Think, yeah, okay. All church day, all right, sounds good,
All right.
guys.
And same time, same place, standard link. See y'all's tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, thanks, Scotty.
Bye. Excuse me,
Hey, guys.
Skate. Isn't there something you want to say?
Yeah, there is something I want to say to you all. And that is that may the poker gods be with everyone.